Yeah, you see, they're for real bullying.
Yeah, actually,
I stand for this. I'm pulling.
Yeah, let's leave, Lizard. Yeah, let's just go. I don't want to come back.
Lizard, you coward.
Come back,
you coward.
You come back, you fools.
You bastard.
You dumbasses. You're literally the kids that I used to fool, you know, when you...
No, we're all leaving.
We jump on 3, 1, 2, and you just watch them fucking fall.
And then you're there watching us as we have this miraculous jump into literally nothing. All right, great. Memes are over, lads. Oh, we got a series.
We somehow bumped a 50-minute break into like a 53-minute break with these shenanigans, but welcome back, everybody. Nice. Welcome back to the stream. Welcome back to Epic League Division 1 action. Liquid versus Alliance coming up, and, you know, we had bullies on the mind, and Liquid are getting their asses handed to them. This is an 0-4 team that should theoretically be hot off the heels of an ESL Germany victory. And then they just kind of walk into here and, you know, there was talk that they're going to be taking it easy after ESL Birmingham. But there's taking it easy and then there's getting completely blown out of a tournament. And so far, it's not looking good. Alliance also were not looking good, but they managed to pull up a victory yesterday. So T-Governor, give it to me straight. You know, is this going to be where Liquid finally has their redemption story? Or are we just going to be seeing more of the same from them?
I think it's difficult to say, right? Because you look at their opponent, and it's an Alliance who now are 1-3, but the victory they had was against a Viking GG that had the internet issues and and obviously the stand-in. So, like, you don't really know the caliber of their opponent. And of course, Liquid are 0-4. So it is going to be I think, what was it? Trent coined it as like the toilet bowl. Technically, it's not now because Alliance isn't, 0-4, but it's still kind of that point where
they're swirling around the drain. Still.
Exactly, and I think as well. Sure, Liquid are 0-4, but Just Era, they're 1-5. So if Liquid win this series, then now Just Era, they're the last place team. So there is a lot to fight for here, and we're only like halfway through the group stage, right? So I think as much as we're making it sound like doom and gloom, there's still like another 4 or 5 games for some of these teams to play. So you always have that redemption arc. And I think, Liquid, they're sure to bounce back, right? They got a boot camp.
They're doomed. They're doomed. It's over for them. Just get them out already. 0-4, my heart is broken. Insania. What have you done?
Yeah.
He's been playing a lot of Pango. That's what he's been doing.
That's true.
He should stop.
You're saying he should, stop entirely, Lizard? Are you telling this man just to retire?
Yes.
Bold.
Just stop playing Pango. That's it. I'd never tell Insania to retire, man. We'd lose such a we'd lose such a character in the scene. Like, no, he's legit. He's all right.
Thank you.
I love him. I love
Nice.
him. Yeah.
I think the real concern for all of us is that if Insania retires, he can easily take all of our jobs in a heartbeat.
That's true.
Has charisma for days.
Yeah, that is very true. So we've got to keep him going, get him in that, if he doesn't get to TI, maybe invite him invite Alliance 2 to no Alliance. Oh my god, Liquid. Oh, what's my brain doing? Oh, that was so awkward.
It's
Relax.
okay. We were in that mode for a year.
They did used to be Alliance. And
Yeah, it's true.
it's fine.
It's hard.
All understandable.
Thank you.
They open up with something completely in their comfort zone. Earth Spirit and Storm Spirit, 2 spirits, one for Taiga, the other for Koikwa. It's their favorite heroes. They aren't really switching anything around. And now back to those doom and gloom things that you guys were talking about.
Yep.
That's Liquid. Like for as long as I've known them, heck, these guys used to lose scrims and tournaments to my teams. So it's like,
In what year, Lizard?
it doesn't matter. I'm just saying they always have this slump in which they don't change. Like they're the same people, and they have like a bad cycle, and then they start playing well afterwards. So
the key thing for me is like when you look at their previous drafts, they are kind of just going all around the shop where they're going to try out like the Storm Spirit, then they got like a Spectre draft, a Lone Druid draft. Like normally when I look at Liquid as a team, they have 2 or 3 amazing strategies and they just non-stop execute them time after time. And so far in this tournament, they've kind of just been, it feels like experimenting a lot. So I would hope after now going 0-4, they are going to kind of ground themselves out and go, all right, guys, this is what we need to do. This is the type of strats we'll run. And as you see with the Esport and the Storm, these are some of the better heroes that they've shown off so far. So I'm hoping to see that kind of grounding happen when they're drafting.
But this is that cycle, right, Tiga? It's like, all right, boys, we're going to experiment for like first 4 days of the group stage. And then we're going back to Storm Spirit, Lone Druid, Broodmother, Phoenix, Insania,
exactly.
Oracle, the shit that actually works, you know? It's enough of experimenting.
Exactly. And hopefully they actually maybe can convert that into some, presence today in the series. Because if they lose again today and they go back to some of their more stable heroes, they're going to have to really have a little chit chat in their boot camp, because that's something we can't really forget as well. This is one of the few teams that during these times, during the pandemic and stuff, they're actually able to get to a boot camp facility and have that kind of, if any, that edge on other teams. So it's why they were so dominant in Germany. And to me, it's surprising that they're having these results right now, because they're at a boot camp, right? Unless they've gone home, but I still feel they're at the boot camp, right? Like,
no, they're at the boot camp.
Yeah.
I'm seeing Blitz's stories.
Sure.
They set up a gym in the kitchen. They're working out, eating, playing. They have it. Like they have everything there.
Yeah.
It's like you said, boot camp is an advantage, definitely.
Major.
Not all of these teams. Like we talked to OG and the way they have it. Like it's only 4 of them in the boot camp. Even having one person out is a problem. So it is a major advantage. But they did just win a tournament, so
no, for sure,
it's obviously
100%.
working.
It's funny you mentioned having one person out, because I'm not 100% sure what Alliance's situation is, but I was told to check out their YouTube channel. They've got some content that they've been doing with their team, and there was a content piece that they did with everyone but FNG all playing Scribble.io in what looked like a bootcamp kind of facility. Yeah. So I am curious if FNG is on location with them. Yeah. If we can grab them for an interview, then I'll be curious. But yeah, having one person out could have, impact on chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's actually with them or not as well. I'll check it out, but let's talk about the draft a little bit. T-Gunner, what do you think about Undying and Dead Prophet?
I think they're pretty solid heroes for the idea of what they complement each other, right? Undying's about securing their lane and going for those early fights with Tombstone, and then DP is the same thing. You play out your lane and you have that objective pressure. My concern is simply they don't really have that Storm Spirit lockdown, but that's where the DP kind of soft covers that with the early silence and that ability to go, well, you just can't kill us, right? That's what I'm seeing right now. Alliance is just unkillable to a Storm Spirit early on. Yeah, not too bad. Also, it's like FNG, right? He just loves the cheeky the Undying to start with. It's like a CIS classic, and he's brought that into Alliance as well.
No, it's very interesting. He's the actual one. No, he's not the drafter, right? But he brought the Undying.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, Undying right now is played by everyone. The hero is sitting on 65-ish% win rate throughout all games in this tournament. He's really strong. The way you play it around the Soul Rip, I don't know why Tombstone wasn't buffed, but for me in the games that I'm playing, Tombstone looks stronger than ever before.
Yeah.
Is
you
it
think of the heroes,
glyphs?
right? No, it's more about the heroes being played as well, right? It's not more of these melee heroes coming into the draft and the way in which the fights are being kind of undertaken. Of like you mentioned, the cliffs as well. The positioning is another key thing. Like you don't just slap it in the river you're fighting in, right? You put it on the high ground, and suddenly there's that disconnect. And I like to see Undying is like equal to an Omni Knight in the form of like what he can provide with like the annoyance, right? Not obviously in terms of what he brings to the game, but just that annoyance level, right? Like you jump the Undying, he doesn't really die. He has that Soul Rip Hill. You have to deal with the Tombstone. Omni Knight, same degree now in position 5. You have to deal with the Heavenly Grace to carry. You have to deal with that GA coming out during the fights. Like they're both really obnoxious supports, and they provide sustain in lane. And that's why these two heroes to me are kind of like the top supports right now for just like what they bring to the pre 20-minute mark.
Now, if you were looking at bottom supports,
Lion.
Took the words right out of my mouth. Yeah, this is a hero that we're not seeing particularly frequently, not in any region. And I mean, it's a very anti-storm hero, that's for sure. But aside from that, not particularly popular.
You know, when you come to the lane and or you're drafting on offlane, and then you imagine what position 5 you'd like to play against. Lion is the first one that comes to your mind. It's literally a hero that if you breeze by him in the laning stage, he dies. It's very difficult for him to get farm. It's very difficult for him to actually be like later on. Usefulness is out of question. He is very strong if he finds his items and if he can find the positioning, especially versus Storm and Earth Spirit, like you just said. But getting there might be a little bit difficult.
You tell me that just giving them the suck isn't going to be enough? Because I feel like Lion's laning phase was buffed fairly significantly whenever Earthspike's mana cost got nerfed quite a bit, but then he just remained to be irrelevant, whereas heroes like Warlock, who got minor buffs, suddenly rose to prominence very dramatically because they have way more teamfight potential.
This pick's nice for the idea of forcing out the draft as well, right? Like, Warlock's great against these int-based supports as well, the ones that kind of just exist in the fight line specifically. But also now, if you're Alliance, you're thinking maybe they go for like a Spectre, right? Because the Warlock Spectre lane, they have the spirits for the aggression, you have that passive safe lane, and Alliance like, well, do we have to block pick this Spectre? Do we have to think of a carry that can match up against the Spectre? And same for Liquid, they're like, well, if they just suddenly have to block pick this, we're going to have like the counter in mind straight away. So I like the drafting choice right now with this Warlock. Kind of interesting.
I think for both of these teams, Spectre is on their mind. Spectre and Sven right now. All the other cores that are strong and in the meta have been banned out. Vengeful kind of banning out that Drow Ranger by itself, right? Like you don't want to pick it if you don't have Venge. It's possible, but not nearly as effective. They go with the Bloodseeker instead.
So you're now going to have that Lion Bloodseeker lane. You're going to have obviously the Earth Spike into Blood, right? Just stun into damage. That's perfectly fine, that aggression. But I don't know how well it will fare, especially when you have a Warlock in the game, pumping out their hills non-stop into a carry. And yeah, I think Liquid right now, they're looking at the Svens, the Spectres. They go for Spectre, sure, all right, as expected, perfectly fine. And I'm now seeing, like, go on, Lizard.
What are you seeing? I want to hear.
Oh, thank you. I'm now looking at kind of Liquid playing into what Alliance is showing, right? It's like that ability to go aggressive in the lanes, but they're going to fall victim to trying to fight around an objective, right? Like it's DP the only tower hitter. Suddenly your Golem is simplified, your Storm, Zip, and Earth Spirit initiation is simplified, right? Like you're going on one hero. If that hero goes, Alliance have to run away from the objective. And that's why it's Liquid, they're enjoying the fact that they have this passive safe lane that can eat through potential damage, and then the active heroes away from those heroes as well. So yeah, Liquid, pretty good draft.
Oh, I agree with that completely. And even this Warlock, like versus the Bloodseeker, you kind of feel good because Bloodright is a little bit negated as well. Thirst, I mean, sorry. Bloodright, obviously, the damage is negated by the heal, and obviously Thirst as well because the hero isn't really damaged any longer. Earth Spirit and Storm Spirit have to, together with the offlaner that's picked last, really have to make a mess of these lanes a little bit to make Bloodseeker's lane a little bit easier, because once again, I'm going to say it like this, Lion, we'll see how much this should be a position for Lion, right, on the offlane Bloodseeker. This is probably something that they've practiced and probably something that they've kept secret because we haven't seen it before. I'm not sold. I like everything Team Liquid has got right now, and the fact that you have, like T. Gunner just said, these squishies versus all the team fight and all the reach. Like the game that we just watched, OG, when they played Thompson Earth Spirit and Thompson Morphling with Earth Spirit on Saxa. This team has just as much. You have Storm Spirit zipping in, you have Earth Spirit, you have Spectre jumping on you.
But
pushing into these cooldowns is going to be difficult.
The important thing is, though, like you just mentioned, cooldowns. That's going to be how Alliance are going to play around this. I think if you look at that first game of OG Navi today, you look at a Spectre, Phoenix, Doom lineup. It looks great, right? But they are locked into the cooldowns of their heroes. And for Liquid as well, Warlock and Spectre, naturally, big cooldown heroes. They go for a Legion that kind of bridges that, nice bit of lockdown. But they don't have this like early damage, right? That's the key thing. They're going to have a Golem, they're going to have maybe Earth Spirit Ultimate, but after that, they're not going to have this skirmishing damage that they can provide non-stop. For Alliance, they have that in bundles, right? They're going to be able to non-stop chip. And if DP wastes ult and she dies, of course, then Liquid will start gaining an advantage. But if Alliance are disciplined on when to use DP ult and they're able to capitalize on it after a Golem's used, that's when I can see Alliance maybe taking this. And
yeah, like it's not really difficult to imagine which two cores are going to be picked. Like even before Spectre and Sven were picked, we called them. Legion Commander is a little bit out of the box, I would say, even for Liquid, but it still fits their playstyle. It gives them that catch that they need. Now back on point of cooldowns, Liquid, they're all about Koikwa. Like if he has a good start, if he can make the Storm aggressive enough in the mid game, those cooldowns don't really matter. You just need, you have an Earth Spirit and a Storm Spirit plus Fatal Bonds. What more do you need? It's enough, but they really have to be careful with Spectre and Warlock and the way they use ultis.
Yeah, this is a spooky game on that front for sure.
Yeah, Storm Spirit cannot be the primary initiator. You're dealing with two silences between a Bloodseeker and a Death Prophet, instant Hex from Lion, and stuns galore from the Lion and the Sven. So it definitely feels like cooldowns are going to have to be burned to get some vision. Spectre's going to have to burn a Haunt so that Storm Spirit can be like, okay, I've found out where the Lion is, I've found out where the Undying is, and then hopefully create chaos in the fight afterwards. But given these two lineups, forget the scores. You know, actually, they're both kind of pretty similar scores also in terms of tournament standings. Okay, factor in the scores, actually. Which draft do you like, Tigov?
I like the answers they could have, but I feel like they could easily get outpaced by just a really high-tempo Alliance. So I kind of favor Liquid, but I can see it being a big weakness, then their inability to fight.
Lizard?
I'll go with Liquid, really. I like what they've got. Comfort zone galore. They are playing versus a Sven. It is Nico Baby, but I'll still go with the Spectre.
And you can always go to egb.com or hit up the banner below if you want to check out the odds, or you can just sit back and listen to our two casters, Killer Pigeon and Pycat.
Oh, I mean, Tsunami said forget the scores, but I'm not sure if I can hear Pycat, because yesterday Trent said that we could have a toilet bowl here, right, with two teams at 0. But I look at it this way. If Liquid win this series, we've expanded the toilet bowl. It's now the 3-point mark, where Just Error and currently Alliance are both sitting. And both these teams, by the way, only 2 series left to play.
So what you're saying is you just want a bigger toilet bowl?
Yes. You know, it's easier to hit it on the spot when it's bigger, and, well, ooh, big hits in the boxy. Hello?
FNG is, I mean, he's not skilling anything here. I don't really understand what's going on. I mean, he's hitting him, but...
I don't know. I think that was the... Like, I was looking at either way, right? Like, either he's saving it for him to get the kill, Soul Rip, or that. He's still saving it for him to get the kill with a punch.
Yeah, and generally, I think, you know, you don't really want to give your supports these kills, but I actually think in this scenario, it's not terrible. The Undying, he's going to get this Windlace. I think he gets some additional regen. And it's going to be really nice in this double melee lane, 2 strength heroes against the Undying. The Sven should be completely free farming here.
Really? You just did
Yeah, and also already a boost. Not only that kill, but also 3 runes going the way of Alliance. In Liquid, they have gone for the classic Spectre Storm combo, but to piece it together in this offlane, a hero that we haven't really seen succeed on average in I want to say the last 2 months or so, which is the Legion Commander.
Yeah, the last time I saw Boxy play, he didn't really have that much success. It looked a bit wonky, but they're kind of bringing it back here. You know, there's some nice dispels for the Storm against this Lion. Of course, the silences as well.
Yeah, and that you mentioned another one that we've seen and criticized, but we've watched to actually succeed, the POS4 Lion. Actually kind of catching people off guard. Is that just because it doesn't get picked so often?
Yeah, I mean, the hero just, it feels kind of awkward, right? There's like no wave clear on this hero, you know, until you get Axe and you can use Finger on waves. It's a very squishy support. The early levels, it doesn't offer all that much. So there are many reasons for why this hero doesn't get picked that often. But this game he is against the Storm Spirit. There's some. He has some nice tools, obviously, to deal with Storm.
That's true. Like they didn't really have an instant lockdown before they had this line. Like you've got the silence from Limp, he gets down in time, but nothing that's going to deal quick for as he scales later on to like BKB, for example.
Yeah, and I think this game is kind of interesting, like draft-wise. The panel, they were talking a little bit about it. It's just there's a bunch of these squishy heroes on Alliance, and obviously the Fatal Bonds and the Spectre. If the game goes later on, it can become very difficult for them to play. But at the same time, they do have a much faster pace lineup. They're relying on basically the Earth Spirit and the Storm Spirit to make all the plays. Maybe potentially play around the rock, but Spectre doesn't offer a whole lot in terms of fighting. The first 20 minutes or so. Warlock, he's basically an ult. Sometimes Fatal Bonds. Legion is not gonna have an amazing lane by any means, so I do think it's kind of scary for Liquid. If they can make it to the 30-35 minute mark of this game, I could definitely see them take it, but Alliance just have a much faster draft here.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of summed up the way you're speaking about it there, is that you talked about this, again, the 35-minute mark looks good, but you didn't really highlight who's going to be able to make the space for Liquid. It seems like it was meant to be this Legion commander, but as you said, it shouldn't be a good lane for bot.
And it might come around this mid lane. There's a roll here by Taiga. It's gonna miss though, but I mean, it really does look like it looks like either Kuiper had his oats this morning, or Limp is just kind of not had his morning coffee. This matchup is so far heavily favoring Kuiper. I don't think that should be the case.
I think Limp just needs to reach under his desk, crack open a can of what they're sponsored by, and just go until it works well, because that's what Tiger's doing. He's going in. Drag back's good, and they'll clean up and go onto Limp. And we have seen this before, where Storm Spirit, he just gets one kill, and with a ganky type +4, which is definitely what Spirit is, it does tend to snowball. That has been the pattern in the last 2 months.
Yeah, I mean, I would like the Lion maybe to be the one kind of carrying that forward and being ready to rotate. I feel like that's a much better rotation than having this Undying forward in. The Undying, he feels really happy, I think, whenever he's in this bottom lane, just bullying this Legion. I think he's quite happy down there. He could even potentially rotate top with the Undying. But he should be pretty happy down there, just bullying this Legion commander, stacking for the Sven. And the Lion can kind of be the one more so moving.
To say, was it maybe the regen perspective, right? Because he did get a big heal off the Soul Rip. Otherwise, maybe Limp has to walk back to base. But I guess you're right. Like, if they rotate the line in, there's a chance for maybe a kill, as opposed to a, hey, I'm basically just your walking south.
Yeah, and he still just has to walk back bottom anyways. It feels kind of awkward. Sometimes this, sometimes the idea is that you want to save this guy mid, but by doing so, you're actually alleviating pressure from the other lanes, which means that they don't have to feel as uncomfortable about the lanes that they might be losing, and instead then the focus becomes on the lane that they're winning. It's about there's some give and take, right? It's a
you're shifting resources from somewhere to
exactly. Yeah, and you have to walk that kind of a thin line. So
yeah, and I guess you're sitting there like, well, it's not like S4 is going to be forced out if line shifts towards the bot, while the other side of the map is, like you said, you can pressure Bo3 pretty hard. We've already highlighted Legion kind of wants to be dictating the flow of the game at the end of the lane.
Yeah,
it's happened again though. And the rotation from Hans is going to be far too slow, or is it Limp? Actually staying alive, they're going to turn around now. Not able to find a kill. Both supports from Alliance coming to the mid lane for this, and Limp is still almost dead. I don't think he's got any regen coming either. Might just be a walk of shame.
I think he just wanted the Soul Rip there from all FNG, but he was denied such an opportunity.
And he saw blood. There really wasn't any blood to spill. You can just already see like Tiger's still lurking around. If one of these supports steps up, they'll die. And even if they don't get that kill, now Quick's already being level 6, you know, he should be getting level 7 before them. He's going to start to feel pretty free on this one. Moved in. FNG.
He kind of committed to this one.
Ooh,
I don't know about this.
You know, that's flying a bit too high there, Maverick. Get picked. Nothing Tiger could do to save the day either. As both supports stay in mid like this, it doesn't seem to be hurting Alliance's outer lanes in the slightest.
No, Alliance and side lanes are completely self-sufficient. Even Nico Baby might potentially get a kill down here. No, he's not going to. No boots. But yeah, I mean, S4 obviously, it's a Warlock Spectre. You know, you're a Bloodseeker. They can't really deal enough damage to harass you. You're just gonna region up with the Thirst. It's difficult to out-CS you. Spectre doesn't really have any deny mechanic.
Spectre though is getting involved in the mid. They found Limp immediately after maybe getting a little bit too cocky. Quickfor says no, I can push this advantage further as they pick off Limp again.
Both mid players kind of playing it up a bit too much, thinking that they have maybe more backup than they do.
This is her more though, like this back and forth. Does it benefit Quickfor more because Limp's maybe meant to be kind of this tempo setup?
Yeah, I feel like Limp should be having a better time than he is, so I do think that it's gonna be favoring Quickfor here. He's still the one getting the most, you know, more farm than Limp, and he seems to be getting the better trade here. Limp is making a rotation to the bottom though.
He is. Easy pick on the box. He can't really run this one off. It's coming too hard. I mean, you might commit the exorcism. You have to rotate it down here, but it seems like Limp wants to hold on to it, which means he's got a long walk back to the mid.
Yeah, I'm curious about this. Like I've seen this. It seems to be kind of the trend on offlaners to just go for this urn. Like pretty much everyone does it. But I'm not sure how I feel about this. Like there's a Legion to remove this vessel. I don't think it's a particularly great vessel game. Yeah, the urn has some value on its own, but I feel like sometimes something that players tend to do is they, you know, it can become useful. It can prove useful this game. It's just sometimes people tend to do this thing where they, whatever is the trend, people just follow. You know.
Well, it's more like it's the cookie cutter thing, right? Like for a while, it was always offlaners must always get piped, and you know there might be a game where actually, it'd be really good if I rushed a Blink as an offlaner, but it seemed of the time. I guess the interesting thing to bring up is that Legion you mentioned is going to have that dispel. I mean, S4 is going to kind of be giving it even more value because now he's going to be going for the Veil on top of that urn. So focusing down a target might be difficult.
Yeah, I'm just curious. You know, like, I feel like you can just invest more into your laning, especially when you're against a Spectre and a Warlock. You know, two heroes that can't really pressure you whatsoever.
They're getting pressured too much now. Limp's rotation. It gets that kill. He needs to be quick to try and get the power. I guess like this is what he was saving it for, right? It's much easier to connect to this lane and pressure it out. Whereas Legion, you've always got that risk. He just grabs the wave of overwhelming odds and then you can't easily chip away at that.
No, this I mean this rotation makes sense. They're gonna get the tower here. They do have Quickfor and Taiga lingering around.
Maybe they can get S4.
I feel like S4 has some good chances to just wait Taiga off with the gold, but it doesn't look like it's gonna matter.
This is the way we keep seeing Earth Spirit at the moment, right? It's always picked alongside this other mobile hero, usually another Spirit, so that when you miss that roll, you don't get punished for it because the follow-up is right behind you.
Yeah, the Storm and the Earth Spirit, they have some nice synergy there. Taiga's gonna make sure Limp doesn't get that rune. Just being kind of annoying. And Quickfor down here, they might get a kill here on FNG. This might very well be the first dual win of the game.
Tombstone goes down. He says, okay, if you're going to dual win me, it's going to cost you. Rupture's been thrown out on the box. He Quickfor. Not able to dodge the stun. He's out of mana as well. Nico Baby, with the casual clicks, are just going to run him down. And 2-for-1 exchange. They do get the dual win, but my god, was it expensive.
Yeah, they get the position 5 on dying for 2 cores. Not really the best of trades. Quickfor once again getting caught there. He tried to disjoint the stun. I don't know if he has the insufficient mana. It looked like he was about to dodge it, but sometimes Dota 2 just, you know, the mechanics don't favor you.
When in doubt, just zip as far away as you can. At least that's what I've learned. low rank. Maybe in this game he needs a bit more efficient with his mana though. And you know, that's going to come along soon. He is getting close to that Orchid. And then these sort of pickoffs on him shouldn't maybe be as easy as that one.
Yeah, Nico Baby is going for this pretty greedy build that we don't see, I feel like, very often nowadays. I feel like it's more so this Mask of Madness into Echo Saber, BKB, etc. But he's going for this SNY. There are no immediate threats right now to him, so it's you know, it's kind of understandable. He just wants to be this big, great boss fan, so he's going for this status resist kind of build. We might see him transition into some of the other more normal items, but if any, you know, game is a good Sven game, I would say this is a very nice game to have this very strong Sven.
I think if you're the Sven in this game, you're very comfortable with the idea of scaling into late game against this Warlock Spectre combo, or is that a little bit spooky? Looking for maybe a good approach?
I mean, you don't want to scale. It's not like you want to go. Like, you don't want to fight the Spectre at Abyssal Manta Skadi level. You know, there's no way you want to get to that stage. That stage is pretty much always just a losing battle, Sven versus Spectre, unless there are other elements. But it's gonna be initiation onto mid.
Oh, they dropped the rock. They're gonna turn around with the Horn, the Dragon as well. They snipe one out. Earthspirit is down, but Hanskin's gonna die. So there's split up damage. Limp is also gonna fall. Bond's just doing too much work. They'll turn around the duel onto FNG. Get 3 for the price of 1, and another duel with this one feeling a little bit more worthwhile for Liquid.
Yeah, just kind of overcommitting there. This is the kind of power of Liquid's draft at this stage of the game. You know, you get this rock. The Earth Spirit, he's sort of just a bait, or whatever you want to call it. Get the Haunt, they get the Golem, and some easy team fights for Liquid there. And I feel like, yeah, Alliance, they're kind of overstepping. I mean, Limp's still really struggling to kind of have an impact in this game. But yeah, this Sven, he's
gonna kill. Every time he comes down, it's find a nice big chunk of change in the form of a hero kill. Once again, it's going to be the case. We're going to turn around the Orchid, movement in. Roll, Dragon, make sure that it connects. The damage follow-up looks good, but the Sorrow is sustaining. Koifa, almost dead, needs to move away. Able to do it quickly, but Nico Baby, he's going to have another stun available. We'll throw it out on the Tiger. He doesn't get the big spirit he's looking for, but he'll at least get the Earth Spirit. Now they can take this tower as well. They have got the exorcism, but it's low enough that they shouldn't need it. Esport, what? Koifa's
done.
Alright, S4. Nothing like diving past the tier 1 and the tier 2. He's not going to let that one get away.
Ah, very nice rotation there by S4. I mean, it looked by all means that the Koiko was actually just fine and was going to escape that, but S4. Oh, but the Sven, he's, you know, there's going to be some nice timing for him where he's going to be really strong this game. He actually is queuing up this Axe now after the Sanch, so perhaps feeling like he has to go with. I mean, the thing about it is the status resist, right? The status resist and the extra strength, the extra kind of lifesteal, that's what's so nice about this item, right? So just going for this is totally fine. The attack speed is not all that necessary right now. You've got the Mask of Madness.
Yeah, I guess that cheap form of status resistance feels good in this game as well, right? Because if you think about the stuns you're playing up against, it's just silences, right? Other than that, it's a duel. You can build a BKB, but it's not going to save you from a duel.
No, but the lowering the duration of the duel, of course, feels very nice in a game like this. You don't want to be controlled by just attacking this Legion. You know, that shouldn't really be your... unless he's isolated, you know, you don't really want to be attacking this guy.
And the good thing is you can kind of play a little bit more risky because you always have FNG with these Soul Rips to kind of like clutch save you if you get caught out of position.
S4?
They have a part as well, actually, I guess. Soul Rip amplifying above. S4's the receiver at this time. He has gone for the pipe next, so he's actually speedily farming towards his next time. I mean, he's third in the net worth chart right now.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit scary for Alliance though. This Spectre is he's quite farmed already. He's well on his way to his Manta. He's got the Blade Mail. He even has the Sporman Shield, which it helps quite a bit.
You just get the most perfect item in the early phase of the game. Usually we're talking about things like the tree for Timbersaw, for example. or a Mars. But this is probably the best hero for a 4-man. Oh, on in with a duel. Another win for Boxy, up to 30 damage now. That is going to use Blink Reveal. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Silence comes out. FNG is going to fall. Normal Spirit, they haven't got the stun control. The Silence coming out from Tiger stops Nico Baby in his tracks. 2 big ultimates from Alliance used. I don't know if they're going to find it. No, they don't. They didn't quite see Earth Spirit behind the trees, so big price for Alliance, and they're the ones hemorrhaging kills and getting nothing for it.
Yeah, and it's, you know, the Spectre, he keeps farming. And these two supports, I mean, they are... This is not a fun game to play these heroes. You're against you're against Earth Spirit, you're against Spectre, you're against Storm, Warlock. Like, these supports are so incredibly squishy, and they're never really gonna feel really comfortable in this game. When the Spectre gets a few more levels, it's just gonna get worse.
Whoops. I was gonna say, as they're gonna learn again, I think Boxy had I think he maybe clicked on his map there, as he was about to dual handskin next to a creep wave under a tier 2, which probably would have led to Alliance death. I think you're right. Like, you think about the way Alliance draft plays, like, this really good Sven game, but it's the supports that don't want this game to go later. The later it goes, the worse it feels for them.
No, Alliance definitely don't want to take this game to a very late stage. They want to be pushing their advantage, and it's also, you just look at Limp. I mean, his net worth, it's below Boxy. I really don't know what's... yesterday we saw Limp. I felt like he had such a good performance on both the puck and the... what was the other one? It was just like very clean, decisive play. I think he played Alina, I think it was, in the second game.
Yeah, he was all over the place making kills happen. And does it feel like they're more kind of playmakery heroes type compared to the DP pick?
I mean, they are a little bit more fast-paced, and you know, maybe that suits him a bit better in the lane as well. I do think Death Prophet should be quite good in this one though, so I'm a little bit surprised.
He's not a stranger to DP. He's played plenty of it. Hex coming out on Mike. One gets isn't going to be able to be used. Still on cooldown, but X is chasing through, keeping Insani away. Mike brought low. They've almost got him. The duel's going to come out. Turnaround kill. 1 for 1. Both Post 5's dead. Buyback out from the Warlock. Rupture thrown up. Sven's already dead. Lions, their attempt is going to fail. The Rock's going to get dropped. Limp in a bit of trouble. We'll be able to find the kill to Boxy, and they will find Tiger as well. But for what you were looking for what you committed, you feel like you didn't really get the better side of that fight if you're Alliance.
No, just look at the... I mean, this Spectre hero, you know, he's got the Dragon Scale, he's got Manta, he's got Blade Mail. It's 2.3k damage, pretty much from just Dispersion and Blade Mail. He didn't even use Blade Mail actually, he just used Manta, so it's just Dispersion damage. And yeah, they don't manage to bring down the Spectre, they lose their Sven. Yeah, the Warlock bought back, and it's a little bit annoying for you, but I mean, you really want to kill the Spectre right now. The Spectre, once he gets to the Skadi, I think this game starts looking very hard for Alliance.
I agree. Like, and then your other option is what, you try and drag it out until the point where you can maybe afford a Silver Edge on one of these heroes, but that doesn't feel like a good prospect. I mean, maybe once they've got the BKB on Nico Baby, but that's still so far away. I don't know if you can afford to wait. As they smoke and move forward, Boxy has been seen. Not sure if they can get him here. They're going to commit more spells. It looks like he's being left alone. Liquid do not want to defend him. He'll turn and stand his ground, which is fine all the time. Nico Baby, he's losing this one. Boxy, way too much damage coming out. They have to turn around, regroup, and ensure that they do not lose their Sven to a duel in a 5v1.
Yeah, the Sven, I think he kind of needs some armor here. You know, this is where this the greed that it didn't really result in him getting more kills or more farm. That's when it starts feeling a little bit awkward. You know, ideally you want this. Well, this is attempted SNY, now it's just an S. You want it to kind of pay off, but it really didn't, and now he's stuck with this item, just the casual. He needs to get to his BKB, he needs AC, he needs, you know, potentially some Daedalus or something. So, he desperately needs a lot more items.
It feels like an S is inventory, but not an S in the game right now. Now with Vegas, maybe they can do something, because it looks like Liquid are unaware and out of position, so they should be able to contest this. I say that. TP in mid, Wigfuck could go for the long ball lineman, but if he does it, it'll be his death. But it looks way too late here. ping it out. Not gonna make a difference. Alliance able to finish off the Roche. Gold strength is under half duration now, so if you're Alliance, you just want to get out without having to force a fight.
Yeah, I mean, the awkward thing for Alliance here is that they actually don't really have any good Aegis carrier. Both DP and the Sven are quite terrible at using the Aegis, you know, after they use their ults. If they go down, you know, with the ult, you know, cooldown, they're not that scary anymore. So, you know, Bloodseeker potentially being the strongest Aegis carrier here, still the way Esport has itemized this game, there's no real point in giving him the Aegis either.
Yeah, he shouldn't really be dying first as well. The way he's built, like now he's got the pipe. He's be well defended. I mean, maybe it was kind of denial Aegis, right? Like Storm Spirit with it is very powerful.
Sure.
Maybe Bo3 got his hands on it, you just right-click your whole team down after what we saw last fight.
I mean, they have the two best Aegis carriers in the game, Storm and Spectre. So, of course, they don't want to give it away.
Oh, speaking of Legion, jump on a Nico, baby. The Haunt's going to come out. That's the first life gone, and a dual win. Boxing up 70 damage. They're trying to get rid of the Tombstone. Nico on the side has been ruptured up. He could just stand his ground. They're going to drop the rock. Limp has to retreat. No Exo for 60 seconds. Backfire for Alliance to get worse if they try and reaggress. They'll allow Liquid to walk away from this, and they give away the Aegis for nothing. I mean, you get the rock, you get the horn, but can you actually make a move now?
I actually think that really favors Alliance. Yeah, they lost the Aegis, but like I just said, I feel like you don't really care at all about this Aegis. They wasted Rock and they wasted Haunt, two of your incredibly strong fighting tools. I feel like this is the time that Alliance have to go. They need to be making something happen right now.
Well, that's a fair point, actually, yeah, because the Exo's coming off cooldown. You got God Strength as well. It's kind of like now Liquid need to be scared. Boxy realizes it's too late. The TP isn't going to get him out. Finger to the face, along with the Stormhammer. Puts him in his grave.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm just looking at this Lion. You know, of course, it's nice having these tools disable against the Storm Spirit and everything, but it's you only managed to net yourself 2 of these finger kills, and you're going to be an incredibly squishy target for the remainder of this game. I don't know, I just feel like this is it's a scary position to be this line.
Like, imagine if this was back when Hex couldn't be dispellable, right? Like, you'd be like, okay, this line's going to be pretty handy as the game goes on, but because you have got that strong dispel on the first attack, it feels like it's really critical for Alliance to find the Legion at the start of the fights, or make sure the Legion is nowhere near the start of the fights.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, and that's also why you see Koik, why he's itemizing towards this Bloodstone. He thinks he's just gonna get saved by the Legion. And we'll see. I mean, the way Boxy has been playing, he's sort of being this renegade. You know, he's trying to look. You know, I'm getting some Rambo vibes here. Just
yeah.
Some you know, I'm going in, guys. You know, he's racked up some dual damage, but he's also got a couple deaths to his name, so.
Yeah, you just imagine the moment where he's like, oh, cool, a free dual kill. And then they just realize, okay, he got the dual, but now he's in too deep. We're going to lose Boxy. It's kind of funny the way that he's been able to play this game, because this kind of way he's playing it is usually what we see when a Legion has like an amazing start to the game. Starts to rotate across the map time and time again. But you know, go back to the laner phase, it wasn't that great for him.
Sania.
Well, finger. But look at the return.
Cool.
Horn comes in, Hans is out of mana, so you can't help. We had to run S4 down. Takes quite a while because he's a bulky boy. Won't be another dual win, but it will be 2 the price of 1 again. But it was your Horn. And remember, Alliance, they've now got both the Exo and the God Strength available. So they might look to make a play as soon as the 2 that are dead are up.
Yeah, but look at the Spectre though. I think this game now is, I don't know, it's looking very grim for Radiant, I would say. The Spectre, he's gonna get to his Skadi now. He got the 2 400 health talent. He's gonna set at 3.1k HP. Doesn't even bother going for this Abyssal. Although it could be very nice as well. He's just going for this Butterfly. You get Butterfly and then potentially Abyssal. I mean, just this Butterfly alone, it's gonna mean the Sven can barely kill you as is. With this item, I don't really see Mika dying.
It's disgustingly efficient to just keep stacking effective HP in this type of game as well, right? Like, you know, you think about the way these fights happen. Magnifiers being thrown around, you get the Fatal Bonds down, and the Spectre kind of runs in and says, you have no choice but to hit me. There is a decent amount of kind of uncontrolled damage for them, whether it's the cleave on the additional targets, whether it's going to be the Exo or the Bloodseeker. DK could just end up killing all of his opponents simply by running around more Ruptured at this rate.
Yeah, this person is just incredibly efficient in this game. And then also there's gonna be this fatal bonds on top of everything. Ugh. It just I don't know. It feels like the way it feels like if you're Lions right now, this Sven, he feels like I need to deal 1,000,000 damage, you know. And these two supports, they just feel like shit. Please don't haunt on top of me. Don't haunt on top of me. Don't haunt on top of, you know, it's just.
Oh yeah. It's also the case, like, if the fight does happen on your side because they horn, it's like, no, Sven, don't! If you hit him now, I'm gonna die to the dispersion. It's quite a rough game. Not really any way you can help yourself against the either. Maybe hunt forward. Uh-oh. Zania. Ah. It's like, yes, another one. Soon I will be able to finger that exact same target every fight. Foxy? He's going to go for the now. The fuel's going to come out. There's going to be a horn. Exo gets thrown out, though. They do bring down the Sven. Fly back out for the Warlock arriving to the fight. Lions gets thrown about, but magically the targets kind of offset it a little bit. Storm Spirit needs to retreat for the moment. Mike dances around the dispersion damage being spread out amongst them, though. Bloodright trying to turn this around, but Esport realizes there's too much damage. He chases deeper. Mike just killing them through his defenses at this rate. Moonaway will finally die on the side, but the price for Alliance, everyone white, just to get a kill on that Spectre.
And you see this, the hero damage here. This is just, I mean, it's dispersion damage, right? Once again, he doesn't even bother using his blade mail. He's just like, nah, I don't need the blade mail. It would be too much. It would be unfair, you know?
It's a friendly handicap, right? It's like when you keep beating your friend in Smash, like, man, he seems a little bit rubbish. I know, I'll take like 200% damage or something.
They, you know, it's just like, it's Spirit Siphons, there's some Rupture, there's like all of these bosses on top of the Spectre. And yeah, he does go down in the end, but all of Alliance, they go down. I think the duel was really nice. I think, and this is also, like, you see Nico Baby, he's got this, he's got 12 armor. He when he uses Mask of Madness, he reduces another 4, so I mean, he's sitting at like 4 armor against this Legion with Blade Mail, and you know, it's just, you're just killing yourself.
Like madness in this game, exactly. It's like, you see the way he's trying to itemize, right? He has to go for this Silver Edge after what just happened, but that means you're not getting something like the AC, you're not dealing with your armor issue. You haven't really got anyone on your team helping you with that armor issue either. It's not like you got, for example, a Solar Crest builder in this game, because of the way Bloodseeker's going. You know, he's going towards the Axe Nets, which is an ambitious choice considering what just happened last time you ruptured BK.
Yeah, and it just feels like there's too much weight on Nico Baby this game, I think. I personally, I'm not a huge fan of the way S4 itemized this game. I think he went a bit too much into the supporting. I mean, I would have liked to see something. Of course, Bloodseeker doesn't build the same way the Legion does, but kind of the idea, at least behind Boxy's play, has been to be able to make some solo kills and scale, right? And I feel like this is a game where you, as Bloodseeker, you are allowed to with such a good start and such a good lane, I feel like you're allowed to go for something greedier and try to become one of these right-clicking cores. You can do some hybrid build where, you know, you can still buy your some supporting items. You know, Solar Crest would have been an amazing item this game. It would help a ton against bringing down the Spectre, just helping the Sven, and it lets you scale.
It comes back to what you said though, right? When you start with this urn, you're like, I'm not sure about the urn in this game. It's that kind of, almost it should become the staple type of build for Bloodseeker, right? Like you think about the Veil, you think about like either a Pipe or a Lotus, and then afterwards is when you sometimes see the Bloodseekers kind of get some independent thought about what they want in this game. At this point, it's kind of like, you look at S4's build, it just feels like he said in for a penny, in for a pound.
Yeah, and at the same time, you know, Limp as well. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it just looks like he needs, he's got to wake up a little. The mid lane, I feel like, you know, Limp is kind of renowned for his laning prowess, as there's going to be another kill onto Hanskin top. But
that's racking up 150 dual damage now. This is what you mentioned, right? This boss 4 line, you can't really safely clear waves. Someone has to go clear wave. Like, who does that on Alliance, right? It's actually a big scary part. Because of the way that Liquid play the game, every time we've seen Alliance try and split push, they get killed for it immediately.
Yeah, and you know, like I was saying, just Limp someone he's well known for kind of being a good laner. I think this mid matchup at least should be 50-50. He's, you know, it's the way he played it. It looked very unfavorable. There were rotations from Taiga, but I think you should be a-okay anyways. But yeah, Alliance not really able to sort of play their draft. I feel like the way it was intended.
I'm trying to remember back to what the vision was on the mid lane in the first 10 minutes. I think it was kind of a little bit defensive, if I recall correctly. So they didn't have these kind of I'm going to predict the Earth Spirit rolling in type ward placements, right? Like when you're against an Earth Spirit as well, what's the #1 thing he's going to try and do in the game? It feels like the reason you pick this hero is so you can rotate mid.
And now there's the butterfly onto Mike. There is going to be an initiation here. This might be one really good opportunity to kill the Spectre.
Yep. He's all alone, no one to help him. It's going to be full lining in now, but it's too late. They've already lost the Spectre. Heal's going to be there, Jules going to come out, but Spence does BKB run, so he doesn't care. They're going to stand their ground. Bo3 almost gives over the dual damage. Won't in the end, but Limp gets a double kill. He's finally getting some change in his pocket. They're going to chase forward 100 for more quick, but hit up by the Rupture. Nice battle way to save the day right as it ends, though. Taiga doesn't look like he's going to make it out himself, but he gets the important one out. They at least keep Quick for alive. The price might be high, though. With this Exo, they should look to try and pressure on the high ground. It is coming to an end, as is the God Strength. But these heroes on the sideline, this is probably the best opportunity Alliance is going to have all game.
Yeah, there's going to be this pesky storm, though. But
pesky enough, though.
Finding the Spectre there, obviously, a huge thing, a huge pick-me-up for Alliance. They're going to find at least the Rex here. Roche is up.
Go hunt for it. I mean,
they might have time for
this.
this.
There's a Horn available when they're up in 30, so it could be slightly risky,
I mean,
but you have to take this opportunity.
If they manage to get this Roche, it could be really huge for them, in the sense that at least they deny it for Liquid. Because I do think that if Liquid get the hands on this Roche, I think this game is just kind of out of reach for Alliance, and they're not even gonna scout it, unfortunately. There's also double damage bottom. Could also be used to get a good fight. Now, Liquid will play a little bit more cautiously here. Most likely, the Spectre, you know, getting caught without buyback there, he realizes that, you know, like, oh shit, had they gotten this ED or whatever, you know, they could have maybe even just gone for the win.
Everything. Yeah, I mean, it's to be expected, right? After that previous fight from Mike, it's the bristleback mentality, right? I cannot die. And you know there's going to be this big kind of whoopsie daisy coming because you feel like you can go anywhere alone. There's no way they can possibly kill you. Now, they're in the pit. The scan's going to come out. It seems like Alliance want them to go in because they've got their cooldowns again. Both the Exo and God Strength are available. This is known fast, though. Mike does a lot of damage. Rupture thrown out into Taiga to keep him still on the side of the fight.
S4, though.
Come on, S4.
In a little bit deep here.
I mean, he's tanking all the damage. He's able to do it. Pipe will sustain him as well. Mike gets stunned up on the side. They go in with the Exo commit. They need to finish. It's going to be a jumping box. He goes to the duel. Straight one to Miko, baby. They turn on him, trying to bring him down quick enough. They're able to get through. Sven is dead. FNG in too deep. The back is tight spread now. The damage, but it's not going to be good enough. Buyback comes out from the Bloodseeker. There's a triple kill already for Boxy. The right clicks are fierce and Limp trying to sustain through this. Yule's by some time. They need to back him up right now. Blood right will zone away Liquid. They're able to retreat away from this. S4 chasing in. They're all low and he loves it. The zombies chasing around. The figure's going to be there. Hand still on the back line. Gets silenced up though. He can't throw out any stuns. He's going to be controlled up and killed. He's dead. That's his buyback. Into the dieback. With that, coming out of the end, Liquid, they might just look to clean up 1 or 2 kills and go back into Roche. If they could, because Limp was able to snatch it up in the end. And now, they're going to try and take it away from them. They'll be able to get through the first life, but once again denied that crucial Aegis. The question is, are the gains afterwards still good enough? As Liquid, they take the first life. They're going to be looking for the second one. And there's no way in hell Limp gets out alive. He's going to go down dead for 85 seconds. Does have buyback.
Yeah, in the end there, they gave up the Roche. I'm not sure who got the cheese.
That's what I'm looking for now. I think it got gobbled up in the midst of the fight. Yeah, it looks like it did.
Yeah, but I mean, Boxy's starting to become... he's starting to become like a really scary core here. He's got 180 dual damage. He's almost got the AC pretty much any time. The cheese is actually in the base of Alliance, so they're gonna have that for potentially Limp when he respawns. But you know, he's pretty much able to just go every time now on the Sven. If he sees the Sven, he just jumps the Sven. most likely he's going to get that duel win.
Yeah, he has to. You have to be quick on the fingers. If Vigo Baby is not paying attention for a second, doesn't hit that BKB, you see what happens. Like, if he has the magic immunity, we've seen he can fight back even under these duels, even under this duress. That is the critical details. They don't really have any good clutch save on a line. The best they've got, which wasn't too bad at 1 or 2 moments that fight, is FNG's Soul Rip. Now also with the Guardian Greaves complete. So he can sustain you a little bit. But as you said, B3's just become a Karen himself. He's getting closer to that level 25. I got a feeling we might just see a dual damage bonus selected.
Yeah, if we get that far, then I would not be surprised if he just goes for it. He's got the AC, he's got the Orbital Destruction, 180 extra damage. This Legion is hitting some fierce.
She's a beast, is what you're looking for there. That's, I mean, it's the comparison. Like you said, this is the type of style you hope to see out of S4 this game. This is brawler type. You saw the way they start that fight. S4's role is kind of zonal and throw spells at me, please. He kind of runs in and begs for someone to hit him. It's quite the masochist approach to fight.
And Insania actually has managed to farm up a refresher orb on top of this 4-staff. So it's going to be double golems now, potentially triple golems once he reaches level 20.
Can we just like highlight the value that Liquid got out of the tier 1 items in this game? You mentioned that poor man's earlier. And they got, like, you know, and then they got the shovel as well to farm up. And then the second phase, just getting their hands on that Philosopher's Stone with a Warlock of all heroes. Early phase items definitely seem to have went the way of Liquid, I'd say.
Yeah, they definitely did. I think the Sven, he got the really short end.
Fuel, straight away. In, and Limp is gone. Buyback's going to come out. He's got the Exos. TP in across right now. S4 sustained on the front line. BK, get out. It's a little bit deep. He has got his BKB. BKB's going to come out. Front Tigers goes in deep. They force out the beginning. Limp is chased forward with the Exo. Nico Baby on the side, stunned up. Going to be brought down. He's dead. 85 seconds without the spend. They don't even care about the magic immunity. Limp, chased on 2 next, eats the cheese, but this is going to be his dieback. They're not leaving without the kill. And he knows that he's going to fall 115 seconds without your TP. The only one they can't find in the end is S4. But now, with the creep wave slowly on its way in, you know that Liquid are just going to try and eradicate this base.
I mean, this game is there's nothing more to it. They're just gonna go push. There's no buyback on the Death Prophet. There's no spend for 50 seconds. You're gonna take at least 2 sides. You know, you could go for the tier 4s if you wanted to. Even if you don't get the, you know, everything that you want at this base, you can see that the Alliance, there's no fight back. This Sven, he was full HP. He was starting to man fight this. The Legion was at maybe 30-40%, and the Legion still beats him in a man fight. Yep. And there's just nothing more you can do at this point.
It's because he bought out on that Silver Edge as well, so they knew he didn't have buyback. They saw that item. But, I mean, props to Miko for going for this BKB. They call the GG, there it is. They knew it was over at that point. Like, maybe if they held an S4, there was one last fight. I just want to say, huge credit to BK. Like, it looks like such a simple game, but you see so often when Spectres get kind of baited into maybe going for something a little bit more right-click or a little bit more burst in the early game, whereas he fully understood. All I need to do is be bulky and practically unkillable.
Yeah, towards the end there, he was pretty much unkillable. At the same time, I really liked the kind of the play of course, I feel like Mickey just played this very, you know, both Mickey and to some extent Koika. I think Koika, his early game was a little bit wonky. He had some pretty strange deaths that actually put them in an awkward position. But I think Mickey just played an overall solid, good game. B3 though, I quite liked, you know, even the Renegade, the Rambo-y parts. Sure, there were some kind of not ideal moments, but you know, he made the game really difficult for Alliance. All of these jumps onto the Sven and the Death Prophet, you know, he created these very important kills on these 2 cores, which basically won a lot of these fights, and I think eventually the game for them.
Yeah, it's that identification that, you know, he can kind of play a little bit loose, right? B3 in this game, he just has to create space because you always have this Spec, this Warlock, this Storm Spirit in that hyper late game scenario. And especially when you keep looking across, you see how much of a hard time, I want to say, Limp is having most of all. You know that when you get into that late game situation, Nico Baby, as you mentioned in the game, is going to always be looking and wishing he had another giant damage item that can miraculously win you the fights.
Yeah, and I do think that, you know, there's something. if you don't get off to the start that you want with this Alliance lineup, and I also think that if you don't have the Bloodseeker actually doing some scalability here, I feel like you're really left with a lot of support heroes here. Your scalability is very limited if the Bloodseeker is not also sort of scaling. And of course, the Storm, I mean, the Death Prophet, sorry, had such a rough time this game. I'm really not sure what kind of happened to Limp on this one.
Oh, and the Alliance, I mean, they're going to have to step it up. Like we said, it's getting towards the end. They got that win yesterday to finally get some points on the board, but they're very close at this point to creating that toilet bowl between them, Liquid, and Error that we were talking about. Hopefully, it can bounce back and show us something more in game 2 from Alliance. Otherwise, Team Liquid are also going to finally get their points. But we'll find out how that's going to go after a short break.
EGB, your esports betting world. The only place to find the widest choice of popular games and matches to win real money. Choose your bet on a single event or express of several matches with dizzy odds. Serving the market for 7 years with over 800,000 users. Join now to get your bonus for the first deposit up to $600. EGB, you know for sure who's gonna win.
Welcome back to the post game of Liquid versus Alliance. Where Liquid are I'm getting kind of excited here. It might actually be happening. We might actually have a well-rounded group stage as Liquid pick up a game 1 victory. But I mean, I felt kind of draft oriented there. I'm looking at what was happening. I was looking at the supports just getting eaten alive on Alliance. I was looking at Liquid basically letting their Spectre get out of control. T-Gov, Lizard, I'm surprised that it looked so competitive for so long, because all things considered, I thought that, I don't know, that Storm Spirit was going to struggle way more, but Lizard, he ended up being surprisingly effective.
Yes, that laning stage was surprisingly effective for Storm Spirit, like you just said. You're playing into that Prophet. I don't think you should win that hard. Taiga did rotate once or twice. They did get some kills, but you're a dead Prophet. Like, when they rotate on you, you just pop those sucks and you get out, you know? Like, it's... I really don't think that it's that much about Storm Spirit as it's about these two supports on the side of Alliance. That there's many pieces here that made Alliance fall in this game, but if I was blaming a big piece and if I was finding my culprit, it would be Lion and the Undying together. Undying alone, I have nothing against. Maybe Lion as well in some games, but in this one, man, it didn't feel like they had two heroes on the map.
Yeah, they're just under a lot of pressure, right? They had to have this like perfect execution, sweep across the map, and around about 32 minutes when we saw them blow up that Spectre, that's how Alliance would win this game after kind of the early window where they're slightly stronger. They're looking for those pickoffs, and when you just see Liquid position and how easy it is for them to kind of counter engage, I think the best fight, and the fight that kind of told me Liquid would win this game, was at 27 minutes, you know, where like Alliance are barreling down mid for this tier 2. You then have this like blink duel to kill the Sven, and then you realize like Sven doesn't ever get to play this game anymore because all Bo3 has to do is duel him. And then when they collapse on top of the duel, you have the Golem, you then suddenly have Haunt come out, and then you have to think about this like backline jump on the Earth Spirit and the Storm, and it's just so easy for Liquid to fight. But that was kind of the tail end of the game where they were just winning most team fights. I think early on, you did see how Alliance were playing. They were poking and prodding, they were forcing out these big spells, and they were allowing themselves to react into Liquid. The issue is, after they had that big fight, they weren't really getting anywhere into the map, right? They weren't getting deeper and taking these towers. They had that one moment when they took the racks mid, but it wasn't as if that was them owning the game at that point. They were still scared of then the reset of Liquid. So a difficult game from Alliance, mainly a product of their draft not scaling beautifully, as Liquids does. But again, like they maybe could have done it. Like that 80 minutes into the game, they go for a deep dive onto a Spectre at the tri-camp. If the Undying had hit Flesh Golem on the Spectre and then used Finger, they probably killed him. And the fight's probably different. But they didn't have that synergy. They used Finger, then they Flesh Golemed, and the Spectre ran away with Manta. And at that point, they'll get wiped. And like that 80-minute window, pre-25, is kind of Alliance's best time. So a couple mistakes in team fights led them to have such a difficult game. And Liquid just dominating.
End up resorting to a more consistent support. You know, Lion's a bit of an exotic pick, but Io, you let that slip through the draft. Obviously, it's going to be a first phase material, and Alliance take it right away.
I'm just now interested in, are we going to see a good pair with that Wisp, or is he just going to be that offlane support? Is he going to be stacking all the time? In any case, will Team Liquid respond to it the way some teams have? Like, we have seen some Ancient Apparitions versus the Wisp as well, but there's just so many different ways that you can answer this hero. They go with the Slardar. That's the easiest way, I think, to roll the hero right now. Tether the Slardar, give him attack speed, just go in that lane and dominate it.
I was gonna ask, like, does FNG even play the Wisp for Alliance? I feel like from previous, I think they played one game where Hanskin played it, and also I don't think I've seen FNG even touch Iron history. So when they first pick it, I think they don't have that power in the draft as other teams do, where they can put it into either safe lane or that offlane role. And that's why you are seeing, for example, the Slardar pickup, because it complements who's going to be playing it.
Yeah, that lane pairing seems to be higher prioritized for Hanskin for sure, which means FNG still has some of his favorites still in the pool. Chen still hanging around if you want to go for some heal strats, Enchantress and Witch Doctor are also favorites of his that can lean into heals. Do you think Alliance care more about pairing it with the Slardar, and now at this point the IO pairing is kind of secured, and you can give Nico Baby a hero that isn't that IO dependent. Like, you don't need to give the, I don't know, traditional melee pairings like a troll or something like that, but you can let Nico Baby have a more independent carry like a Slark. How do you see this IO in this game, Lizard?
Look, there are different stages of the game, and you adapt to that. This Wisp early on will be playing with Slardar. That's how you play with it. But you can still pick a carry that works well after the laning stage with the Wisp. You can pick something like a Sven, even if it's not banned out. Why not? Like, PA has been banned out by Liquid. We have seen Wisp PA before, and it's scary with Slardar as well. So, like, it's all about the stages of the game. Early on, you play the Wisp with the Slardar. Later on, you can still continue playing with the Slardar, but if your carry is good with the Wisp, then that's better. Why not just pick a core position one that's actually strong?
I am curious then, what would you say differs, Tigov, between like a 4 and a 5 IO? What does a safe lane IO do differently than a 4 position off lane IO? Is it purely just the laning phase and that's it?
It's kind of also the direction in which you play after laning phase, right? If you're safe lane, you're moving deeper into your own side of the map, going for jungle and for farm. And then if you're position 4, you're playing with your offlaner to pivot into your enemy jungle and force out that aggressive fight. So it's mainly just, I feel like, map movements and the general kind of gist of it, right? Because itemization, it's identical, right? You're going for the mech, unless your offlaner buys it before you, and then you feel like you have to suddenly not buy it because you get griefed. But no, like, it's mainly about map movement and the rotations that you make through the map. So that's the key difference, personally.
A lot of carry pairings getting banned out. Spectre, PA, Terrorblade, Troll, all down for the count. Lifestealer and Void as well in the first phase for Liquid.
Yep.
List is getting shorter and shorter, but Jug still in the pool that Nico Baby had played. The Slark, the Troll. And then, yeah, both mid laners still under the covers. Liquid's draft, on the other hand, a classic combo. Mars Arena and Dark Willow Terrorize, a combo as old as time, at least as old as these heroes have been in the game, and Liquid are no strangers to running it.
Yeah. You can see from Alliance's bans, they're looking at just securing the Slardar's lane, because we've seen so many times actually teams pick Slardar, but they don't think about the TB, the Troll, the Jot. Like, these are like the biggest 3 heroes in my opinion against Slardar, so they automatically give S4 this like lane he can play, and it will open up Nico Baby to have this free aggression on his side, where his team will be able to win these early fights in lane, and then suddenly you have this like farm potential where your jungle will be kind of invaded, because traditionally IO Slardar, they're the ones dictating the early portions of the game because they're forcing out rotations and reactions due to their kind of laning presence.
I think if you're looking at Slardar alone, you can counter him with a troll or something like that, and it's good ban. But when you think about Wisp and Slardar, man, that's a little bit of a different story, because it's way more difficult to actually contain. Liquid, they go with an Undying. He's pretty good versus this combo because of the decay, because of the soul rip. He can mess them up quite well. He as well has to be careful, because a couple of those bashes coming from level 3, and he's susceptible to dying just as any other support. If you're Alliance, what I think you're lacking right now is some setup, and you can get that on position 5 even for FNG. Just get some hero that sets up the relocate ganks throughout the game. You don't have to focus yourself and like sacrifice everything else to make the strategy work, but it's nice to have something like that in your draft. It's like in that last one for Liquid, they had duel plus Haunt and Storm Spirit afterwards, right? And a duel that usually wouldn't have worked is activated by the high mobility heroes. So that's always something that you think about as a Wisp. As a drafter that gets Wisp.
I feel like a Witch Doctor and Ench might be on the books for Alliance, just for like the laning phase. I go for a Jakiro. Ooh, F&G classic there.
All
Sure.
right.
Laning praise. Laning phase presence. There you go. Just merging some words there. But all right.
It's the strong hero versus the dark willow in the lane as well.
Yeah.
Strong
Ice
hero
Path,
versus almost anything, yeah, but versus dark willow in particular, and it enables your carry to be a little bit greedier because Jakiro is just a power laner. Dragon Knight.
Wait, so what is it about the Jakiro Willow matchup that you like? Is it just a lot of ground targeted spells that she can't shout
Yeah,
around
exactly.
Much, yeah.
Exactly. Everything goes through her Dark Realm, so you can you can finish her off, stop her from TPing out. It's and Jakiro is just a very strong laner. So
Has shortcomings though. It's not particularly popular, though whenever you get your hands on objective, Jakiro definitely exceeds at pushing, and Liquid trying to repair their own shortcomings with pushing, go with the DK. Death Prophet is still an availability if Alliance want to do that, but definitely a high armor hero who shouldn't worry too much about getting insta-gibbed by Slardar's Corrosive Haze.
The thing is, though, with Liquid, I feel like even though this is a casual DK pick, they are second, so you don't even know if they're gonna where they're gonna lane it, right? Like realistically, they could just slap it in the safe lane if it's like the perfect game to put like a lone druid mid, for example. I'm not suggesting that, but I think that's the kind of where Liquid's positioned right now in their draft. So for Alliance, I slot. Okay, they go for Jug. I would say like any hero that can abuse the lack of kind of reliable stun they have right now would go into a mix. So I was going to say like Slark, and then they go for Juggernaut, that kind of idea, which is it's just going to have a free game so far. Like these supports just hate playing with any kind of BKB innate hero. So yeah, Alliance, they've got that early lane pressure with the Ice Ladder. It unlocks the Juggernaut to have his farm. And then once they get online with Slardar, they're going to have these like blink initiations covered with the Jakiro stun on top. And yeah, I kind of like what Alliance has just to get into their face, but they need to be able to have that one active mid hero, like Lizard was saying, that he wanted it in the support role, but now they're going to look for it in the core role, which is can they start the fight? Can they look for that relocate? Because they can either two ways to fight. They can either start a fight, relocate in, or they can just run around the map together and just abuse like the move speed advantage they have and the fact that they can just move quicker than an Undying can, a DK can, and Mars.
A lot of analysts talk about how when there's like a Pango in the off lane, then once the Pango hits 6, then you pretty much have to evacuate as the safe lane carry because you can't really deal with Rolling Thunder. Is that as true with like a Mars Arena? So picking something like a Jug means that like, oh, okay, I can leave Nico Baby alone for a little bit longer than usual because he's got a Blade Fury get out of jail free card for this arena, and Io and Slaughter can just operate independently for a little bit later in the game.
Yeah, it's the Lifestealer and the Jug situation, right? These two heroes are always a little bit more difficult to dominate and shove out of the lane. You can see even teams having different strategies, or maybe it's not something that you talk about beforehand, but you just feel it. When you start the game, you see if it's a Spectre on that tier 1, you want to take that tier 1 by minute 9, maybe even with the first Carti or the second one. If it's a Lifestealer, however, or a Juggernaut, it's a little bit more risky to rotate in and start making those moves that early on. So it changes the game a little bit. It definitely makes your life a lot easier versus Mars. Again, another hero that works well versus Dark Willow. And right now they have pretty much all 4 heroes able to go through that Dark Realm, which is quite all right. Morphling wasn't banned out as well for them, something that I thought they might get their hands on because they're playing versus an Undying too, but they go with the Jug instead. Actually, Morphling banned out by them. I'm blind.
To Invoker? Okay, for Lina. Okay,
Lina,
sure.
yeah.
Okay. So go for Lina now, and I think the key thing here, the difference from Alliance, is they're going for 3 lanes that can actually go aggressive and have that potential to win the lane. Quite often nowadays, we see more kind of static laning setups where they're happy to go even and play on their team timings. But with Jakiro Juggernaut, that has potential outplay against a Mars and a Willow. Io Slardar, of course, very aggressive. And then Lina, traditionally in most mid matchups, has constant chip. So I think Alliance is looking towards having that strong laning phase, having that early rush with the Slardar, looking for that timing, and just battering down towers with Juggernaut and just that kind of window to go. We can actually move through the map, and we're not locked into like a Sven ult where we kill someone and go, all right, boys, reset, wait for the next spell. Like this is the key change between game 1 and game 2. They're looking to be active from lanes and that mid game.
Meanwhile, Liquid probably looking for something to prevent this incredibly potent push that Alliance have geared up right now, because wave clear is not Liquid's strong point quite yet. Still don't know where this DK is going. Could be mid lane, could be safe lane. Given the mid lane matchup against Alina, DK doesn't necessarily... Oh, wow. Medusa reemerges. Mike
Beautiful.
Medusa. Okay.
Yep. Okay. You can see from the bans from Alliance as well, they kind of thought the DK might be safe lane because they banned like TA, for example. And then Liquid just go, all right, let's put the DK mid and just pick up this hard carry win condition, because Alliance, it's all about physical damage right now. And Medusa happily plays into all of that. And if they, even if Alliance win this early kind of rotation game and they look towards high ground, if the Medusa is able to run away from that aggression, get, even just Manta +1, this high ground siege will be near impossible in my opinion, because it's only Juggernaut poking his head up, right? And when you have Medusa, Mars, DK stun, like, it's really difficult. So Alliance again in the same position where they have to win this kind of early portion of the game and make pretty much no misplays. Otherwise, they are just going to fall victim to being outscaled, and they can't ever really siege high ground without the perfect pickoffs.
Lizard, which way you lean in between Liquid and Alliance as we see these two drafts?
I'm completely for Alliance. Like, I can definitely see some Medusa coming in late and winning the game, but Liquid have drafted themselves again into this lineup that has to execute these teamfights perfectly well with all your ultis and Mars Arena and Dark Willow, but the chaos effect that Alliance is bringing to the fight, you have this Slardar running around, you have Chug, you have Lina as well with the burst damage. It just looks much easier for me to play the Liquid game, even though it can get scary versus Medusa. I believe still that they're able to close this game out, or even if it does go late, I think Alliance can take it.
Liquid found a victory in game 1, leaning on a late game carry. Maybe they'll find success in game number 2. You can always check egb.com if you think you know which way the game's going, or click the banner below the stream. But how about we just jump right in? Game number 2 with Killer Pigeon and Pycat.
And hopefully a game full of chaos, because that's definitely someone that Liz hit on to initially there, Pycat, right? It's like there's someone chaotic about Alliance's draft, but I don't know about you. I look at this, I think there's a lot of kind of anarchy to the team fight for both sides, right? With the Medusa, with the Willow, with the Undying, and then on the other side with this Jakiro, with the Lina and the Slardar.
I mean, there's definitely a lot of team fight on Liquid. You know, they've got the Mars Arena with the Willow ult. They've got the Dusa ult. There's a Tombstone in there. It's gonna be hard to fight into all of this. But Alliance do have a very fast-paced draft. They've got the Slaughter with the IO, of course, the Juggernaut. Kind of Juggernaut being sort of similar to PA in that sense that you want either this steroid or the Slaughter type hero to just, remove armor from enemies so that you feel stronger. And I don't know, I actually do like Alliance's draft here. I feel like they have easy roach taking. They can take towers with this THD Juggernaut. There's a lot of healing. I think Limp is on a very comfortable hero. I think Alliance just need to play a solid game here, not do anything completely strange. I think they should be coming out ahead on this one.
Yeah, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head there, right? You mentioned Limp in that situation. Last game, we were kind of critical of him. Obviously, he's no stranger to DP, but something like the Lina, there's definitely that kind of more flashy wham bam fanky man pick off after pick off kind of approach to the game that we know Limp extremely excels at.
Yeah, and he can also scale into some solid right clicks here, right? With the Slaughter and everything. I don't know. I just think there's some nice. There are a lot of nice tools for fighting for Alliance for quite a long time. I wouldn't even be opposed to seeing, Nico Baby. He could even go into something like a Manta Diffusal this game and just be very active. Let Nina do, a large portion of the damage. I think since it's Alliance, I don't think that's going to be the case. Most likely it's just going to be the Battle Fury, with maybe the Mask of Madness. But I do think he could play a bit more active on this Juggernaut this game if he wanted to.
Yeah, we do see a lot of teams, they opt for the backup. Right, like you go for the Battle Fury over the Diffusal, because if you screw up, if someone goes wrong early on, like it did last game for Alliance, all of a sudden you're up against this carry that's just going to outscale you like crazy in the late.
Yeah, the only thing is I actually do think that you scale much better. Of course, you don't farm as fast with the Diffusal Manta as you do with the Battle Fury, but the way you scale in the game versus Dusa is, I would say, quite favorable, I suppose, with the Battle Fury. But we will see. There are plenty of ways to go about this.
Yeah, they don't have a great save against the non-slash actually, when I think about it as well. So it doesn't feel like there's an easy way that DK can build to feel safe.
No, and that's kind of the spooky thing, you know. And there's also this THT. I think THT is actually a pretty good hero against Dusa. You know, Dusa is very slow, and you kind of move in predictable ways, which is it's very easy to set up ice paths and macro fires onto this Medusa.
Also can mess with their kind of initiation, right? Like they want to put down the arena, play in the arena, and this chaos that comes out from the macro fire and ice path can screw the plan. And the panel hit a good point around Tiger in this game, right? Like all these heroes have ways of screwing over the Dark Willow. It shouldn't be an easy Willow game by any means.
No, there are plenty of ways to kind of get to that Willow, even though she's in the ethereal form.
They do have the neat combo, of course, with the, you terrorize while in arena, and it's like, stop hitting yourself, stop hitting yourself.
They've got plenty
like
of nice combos. Yeah, no, they've got plenty of nice combos with their team fighting, you know, with the Tombstone, with the Stone Gaze, like, you have to run, but you can't run because there's arena, you know, there's like a lot of nifty kind of combos here. FNG might be in a little bit of trouble here. He's just gonna walk it off.
Armor, slaps it off. And the other thing to kind of highlight about that big team fight is, it's not one of these really elegant kind of, if everything's done perfectly, it's amazing type team fights, right? It's kind of interchangeable parts, shall we say. They don't really usually need 2, maybe 3 max components in a big fight.
I feel like if they just, like, you know, all of their players, they just put their heads on the keyboards and just roll their heads on the keyboards, I feel like, you know, the team fight should kind of execute itself. You know, some spells will be pushed, some heroes will die.
It's the basic test these days.
It's all coming together, you know, it's all coming together nicely, and then you just see, like, Koikwa in the background, he's just, like, rolling his head over his keyboard.
He's just stomping on his keyboard at that point. All the buttons, guys, I think I got them. While, you know, Alliance, they're very much this, me find pick off, me kill, please don't come as 5, right? Like, and they should be able to utilize that quite well, especially with the IO, and maybe if Limp goes towards the boosted travel build, we see a lot of leads.
Yeah, I think this bottom lane, as soon as the Slaughter gets to maybe level 4 here, I think even level 3 could be sufficient. The Undying does have boots though, but once they get level 4, I think this lane could get really dicey for Liquid. Dusa already low on mana. They are gonna find Nico Baby though. That was a solo kill.
Yeah, he got the spear back towards the tower, and the spin wasn't good enough. In fact, if it wasn't for the creeps, he might have just limped away from that, courtesy of the healing wall, but nicely done by Boxy. Now they might find another one, as FNG's too far up without assistance. Boxy doesn't have any mana.
And the bottom lane, though, they are going on to Mickey here. No
they keep trying this. It's been very awkward. Like, you see them get Nikkei very close to death, but then they realize, hold on a sec, I'm missing 12 strength. This is bad. Although, if they get rid of the one that keeps getting all the strength, maybe, I don't see how you easily get Insania here. He's been playing pretty well position-wise on this lane.
Yeah, I feel like they could have done a lot better in this bottom lane here so far. On Alliance's side, I think they've given up a bit too much farm to Dusa. I think a lot of it is courtesy of Insania, though. He's done a good job at kind of positioning himself well and stealing strength and everything, making their life difficult.
Yeah, it looks like he was screwing their pulls a lot as well, so I don't think they ever saw a good opportunity to just pull the creeps back. Because admittedly, if you get Nikkei near your tower, and IO Slardar, any hero who doesn't have good mobility is going to die. And speaking of which, they're trying for it now while Insania's not here. He's under tower though, so I'll have to give up. I guess the awkward issue here is, like, you just spend these resources, but you know who's coming back. You know who's going to make your life hell as Insania's back on the lane again.
Yeah, Limp though is at least having a very good time so far in the mid. He's up by about 600 gold. So he's having a very nice game. You know, looking probably to get sort of active with this Treads build we saw yesterday as well. Treads Yules into some sort of right-click scaling.
Yeah, he gets on average, I think he's probably, like, out the mid laners, he's one of the most consistent that goes to the Treads. We do see a lot opt the boots of travel play. like I said earlier, you would be tempted, right? When you got the IO as well, you're like, well, okay, we can always have this positional advantage in terms of like mobility around the map compared to Liquid.
Yeah, I think the treads are kind of nice. They make you a bit stronger. Top.
Oh no! Oh! Turn around opportunity for Limp as he arrives in the top lane. Foxy has got the arena, but no mana to cast it, and he's rotated here for nothing. That's now twice that Nico Baby's got caught out in awkward situations as he was really trying to take this big fat stack.
This is, I mean, this not just becoming an issue. This is an issue for Alliance. The fact that their safe lane is doing so poorly. I think they're gonna need rotations. They got the Limp rotation there, but it didn't really result in anything. They need more than this. Taiga might just die here.
Yeah, but he gets the FNG kill first, so he's not feeling too bad considering that's the mid. Now having to be dragged to the out lane, now Juggernaut has become the new mid. Well, bot, Mike, this is the bigger one as well. Soulrip can help him out somewhat, but he's got no mana. Just chase him down. The body blocks are good from Hanskin, and that's an easy pick onto the Deucer.
Yeah, this is what they really needed. They finally get the lane to a place where, you know, the creeps are close to their tower, so they can just run down this Deucer. And there's just zero chance that Deucer can fight this Slardar outside of his tower. The bash, the overcharge, the stun. It's not a very fair fight.
Still, there's no denying that how this lane should have went for the first 7 minutes. Deucer's kind of had an easy time with this jog. As I said, he's now going to try and chill in the mid, farm up what he can, but I mean, the problem is you're stuck here and you're just taking so much damage constantly from the Dragon Knight. I don't know if I'd say this is an easier lane for you to CS in due to the refarm.
You might feel a bit more comfortable than in this this off lane versus this Mars hero. I have a lot of PTSD from that hero.
Yeah. Well, how would you measure them in comparison to Nico Baby's death so far?
I mean, it's roughly the
average?
same. Nah, it's like, you know, I've been there. I know the feeling.
I think the
This
big
guy
one
with a
will catch
spear.
people off. It's not even the spear active, like the ability, right? It's also the God's Rebuke. It always catches you off guard because you don't want to have to spin, for example, this Juggernaut just to get away from that slow, but you know you're traded badly.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so incredibly difficult to trade with that hero.
I think isn't there like there's something to do with if I remember correctly, like Boxy, if you want, he could take 1 point and Bulwark. I don't think they fixed it where if you just stick facing the direction in which he initiates from Omni Slash, all the attacks are done from the front.
I think the way Omni Slash works, I feel like I had this discussion, unless it's been changed. I feel like it's you get 1 slash from the front, 1 from the back. I think that's how it's supposed to work.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, but I heard there was a bug. I don't like they must have fixed it, where it was something to do with like if you just trigger Bulwark active and stay in the direction he goes from.
Okay.
They will count. I assume it's got though, because that does sound like quite a weird and randomly busted interaction.
Dota mechanics, you know.
Hey man, we've had our share. Like, identifying the part that I'm sure is messed with OCDs yesterday, which is the 84% evasion on a PA. Should be 85.
Oh yeah. The interesting mechanics. Dota 2. It's gonna be a double damage on Nico Baby here. Potentially they could make some sort of rotation. I think they kind of want to hold on to this tower, or at least get a deny. Maybe try to get a kill on Koiko here.
It was a bit too predictable though. He needed Limp there, but he at least ensures they get the deny on the tower. So some much needed gold into the Alliance lineup. Limp still sitting at the top of the
FNG manages to dodge the spear there. Very nice kind of sidestep, and Boxy might be in trouble. No, he misses the stun.
Oh,
It
no,
should
they
be a
got damaged
dead.
Ice Path there.
Yeah.
I mean, it is Boxy's best hope. I guess he was gambling, I don't think Ice Path had been thrown out yet, so he's kind of gambling on, like, is this going to be the 2-point Liquid Fire build? But it feels like a lot of Jakiros, they go for that early point Ice Path.
And Esro's queued up the axe, so not going for this early blink. He wants to become
I guess
more of a core at this one.
Yeah, you just front line, you run in, and I guess in this type of game, like you think of how powerful the stuns are, that stats resistance is going to make it very hard to keep you down and out of the fight as the Slardar.
Yeah, the only thing being that they do have both the Mars, the Arena, and sort of the Stone Gaze. Of course, the duration of the Stone Gaze might be slightly lower, but it's just that it lasts for such a long time. It's still hard. But yeah, no, I mean, as for if he gets to this Axe, he's going to become quite powerful in this game. And Alliance might actually have a Tricore lineup.
We see whenever Slardar gets picked, it's just this combo, right? There are certain combos that kind of break Dota. And you know, when you think of IO over the years, it's been like the gyrocopter for a long time. But this new Slardar, he's definitely up there, in at least the top 5 for IO combos. Well, I'd say maybe even top 2 at this stage.
Yeah, no, the Slardar has been, you know, he's on the rise. He's getting up there. And oh, Esport is actually quite close already. He's already halfway to the Axe. So he's quite farmed.
All this has happened. Liquid strike at the top. This time they will get the FNG kill. Force the rotation out. Nico bit.
Nico, baby.
That's an ambitious Omni Slash. The reload in was way too late. They were opting and hoping that Quidford was going to just panic and run in the tree line. They keep Limp away with the spear as well. He's pumping that LSA. He can't find a target though. They're going to chase him down. Limp able to move away as the haste is still running barely though. The Dragon Tail stun's now going to come out onto S4. He will be able to stun up enough to move away from the trees. So no kills given over. But considering what Alliance invested for this current initiation, get nothing out of it. It's got to feel pretty awkward.
Yeah, I don't know. It looked very awkward from Alliance. You know, I'm not sure if Nico Baby expected to actually deal just a lot more damage. This is a Dragon Knight level 10 with maxed out Dragon Blood. He's got the 12 additional armor, 2 bracers, and an Ironwood tree. You're not gonna kill this guy with just an Omni Slash. Even if he's amped, he's not gonna die.
It looked like he was hoping that maybe Quidford would panic a bit and go into the tree line when they were reloading, but Quidford saw the damage. He's like, okay, this is never gonna kill me. I'm just gonna casually walk away. If the Jug keeps chasing us, he's gonna find himself in our territory. As a result, in the end, Liquid gaining even more as they finally bring down that tower. Of course, S4 has still been farming his heart off in the bot lane. He's back there, and he's getting close to that Axe you mentioned. So that's kind of maybe the bounce back point if these ganks keep failing, is that eventually you are going to have this unassailable Slardar.
Yeah, I mean, Nico Baby is finding some farm here on the Ancients, and S4 just keeps sitting down here. He's just trying to get to this Axe. They've FNG parked up top. There's going to be a reload onto Koikwa here.
Moving in, and again, this problem. I mean, well, similar problem, shall we say, where the reload isn't able to connect at all.
Yeah. I'm just curious. The Axe is obviously going to be very useful for S4. It's just they do sort of lack a playmaker right now. They have the Lina. I mean, I think Limp. It would be nice to see him get a bit active and try to set up some kills. You know, you have the Yules.
But instead, it's them getting active on S4. You say like imagine you had a blink in this game. You'd be able to be doing what Quidford just done right there, which is just find these more greedy targets and punish them.
Yeah,
I
I really like the fact that Koikwa went for this early blink. You know, this double bracer treads blink. It seems so nice. You're very tanky. You have sufficient mana with the mana regen talent. You got some raindrops. Just this DK is.
You've got to do so, right? Like you don't need to be this kind of scaling core necessarily. You need to just be a cheap form of initiation.
Yeah, this DK can do shit. You know, that's what feels good.
Thumbs up and cool. Like you like. Mind this. If they initiate a meal, it'll cost them. They respect the fact that Alliance, if they have numbers, they can still fight. So while the Juggernaut may not be ready to regularly participate, neither is Mika.
Nah, the Dusa doesn't really want to participate in this game. Oh, there's... Yeah, okay, Nico Baby just pours out. He recognizes the danger of the situation. Bo3 does not have a port right now, though.
No, they don't know that, though. Well, they can see it doesn't have a port, but in terms of TP cooldown, they don't know about that. And Bo3 does now have a blink as well, so they might make this kill happen on S4. Getting close to that Axe with 1,000 gold out. Lina would be an even better target, but the Iron not being there, like the reload might come too late to respond to what Liquid are about to do.
S4 might be in trouble, but there is a smoke behind. They can reload in
there. Numbers for Liquid. Jump in, stun's going to be there, terrorized. The arena goes down. They're going to be running into the wall, clapping their face against an unmovable opponent as the arena is able to slay 2. Tiger actually gets both the kills. Esport chased into the tree line where he'll be stunned up. And Quickfight's got the Dragon Tail. Now throw out. Nice reload back though. Will get him away. Nice save by Hanskin to minimize the casualties.
Yeah, and the thing is, right now, just looking at this Alliance's draft, I feel like, you know, this is a very fast-paced draft, but the way they're playing it though as if they really want to go late into this game. You know, they are building this Mask of Madness, Battle of Fury on the Juggernaut. They're going for the Ags from Slardar. And yes, Limp's build is very active, but he's pretty much the only one right now.
They're trying to get active again, but it's like, I mean, you're trying to get active around this jug that is just going for that more greedy underfarm later, but it feels like right now, Liquid, they kind of got Alliance's number. They see the moves they're making, they know it's all too predictable. They also know that at this stage, it feels like if Alliance aren't 5 and initiating, how do they kill anyone?
I mean, the issue for them is initiating, right? They have the Lina with the Yules, they don't have a Blink on Slardar, the Ice Path is level 2, Juggernaut has no Diffusal. How are you gonna get on top of a target, you know? You need to run in and... I mean, Liquid are not gonna just let you run in and kill them.
No, it's like you think, oh, well, S4 will have this Axe, he'll splash, he'll move quicker to initiate or something like that. It's like, you already got an eye. I don't feel like speed is getting in has necessarily been his issue in terms of movement speed. It almost just feels like one of those scenarios where the carry thinks building Daedalus is a good idea every game. It's like, well, if I just have even more casual mobility, I can just do whatever I want. As you said, Liquid, they won't let him, especially with the amount of stun control they've got. It can easily just put him in an uncomfortable position in these fights time and time again.
Yeah, I'm just curious if Alliance think that they're gonna win this late. I mean, if they do believe that they're just gonna take this, if it goes really late, then it's understandable to do what they're doing. But to me, it looks a little bit sketchy. Both the Dusa and the DK will scale very well, as well as the Mars. They're all gonna become incredibly tanky. Boxy looks like he's just gonna queue up a Lotus Orb. And, you know, DK kind of just innately tanky. Same goes for Dusa, so...
Yeah, and look at what Mike's going for next. Going for the MKB. So there's going to be this huge power spike if you wait around too long. There's going to be this questionable element of whether Alliance can match up to that. I mean, yes, you've got that corrosive haze. Even then, you've got to keep in mind there is the fact about those independently tanky cores you mentioned, but also having that soul rip save or the terrorize to reset these fights. Liquid aren't disarmed just because there's a little bit of extra damage coming their way.
Yeah, and you know, this portion of the game has felt a little bit weird for Alliance. I feel like the next one is about to get even more strange. Now they just finished the Battle Fury on the Jug, so now he can finally start farming at a faster rate. But, I mean, Liquid are ready to play the game. They have 2 Blink Daggers. There's 3 Blink Daggers even. There's Willow, DK, Willow, DK, and Mars all have Blinks. And they're just ready to run at you.
Hanskin unable to save Limp's life there. They just make it so easy to pick off targets. And then you just keep looking and you go, okay, S4, you've got the Axe. What's the plan now? I will farm Blink Dagger. Gustav, we need you right now. We've lost more heroes in the middle. I will farm Blink Dagger. I'll be ready soon. Yeah,
I mean, that's the thing, right? They're taking this incredibly early game active lineup and they're turning it into a very, very slow one. They've just been farming for 20 minutes. They haven't really tried to make any sort of moves whatsoever.
Now they're going to try, but this is the problem with the Axe. Most of these heroes, they just see you coming and they cast their spells. And you either prematurely stun so you got the stats resistance, or you have no way of locking them down. I feel like we just need some sad music playing as we watch Esport in this game. It feels like he is going to be the headless chicken, where he'll feel so close to catching a target, and then they'll just escape every time.
I mean, once he gets to the Blink, it's going to be a lot different. Limp also getting close to his DKB. They're going to have, you know, they're going to be quite strong with these items. Once they get them, they will be able to find some initiations. They can definitely take fights.
That's true, but at the same time, when you look at the items that are going to come up with Liquid, they've almost got the BKB and Quickfire. Well, Arena going down in the bot lane. Lusa has got the Demon Edge, so she's getting very close to that NKB as well. It's not like Liquid are not going to have things to match these timings from Alliance.
No, you can though finally see kind of Nico Baby is starting to catch up to this Dusa. You know, he might even pull ahead at some point. He does have the extra mobility from the IO. A little bit surprised he's going here for this SNY on top of the relocate.
Yep, top of the relocate, which will get him even more money as they'll look to kill off Tiger. But the trade is not good there. You get the Willow, but it costs you your Slaughter, and now you use the reload as well. So Liquid, they might just try and find another independent pick-off now that you no longer have your SWAT response team.
It should be okay for Alliance. There's some bounty on the Willow, so in the end, just a kind of whatever trade. I think Alliance, they need to start looking towards this Roche. That should be the next objective. They, of course, want to get that Blink as soon as possible onto Slaughter, but now already you see there is a Lotus Orb on the Mars. He's queuing up the Solar Crest. Bo3 really understanding this hero very well. I like seeing him play this hero. I think he just understands kind of his role and what to do.
It's the difference in the offlane. It feels like that's the story of this series, right? It's like last time we said maybe S4 could have got away with being a bit more greedy, and then, you know, Bo3 had the right items. And once again, like on his hero, he fully understands his role, because not only is this a decent Lotus game, it also means S4's initiation can be kind of ruined, because usually you stun Corrosive Haze and like look for a quick target to kill.
Yeah, and now it's just going to become a lot more difficult for Alliance to do that.
They might lose heroes here. Smoke's going to come out. Luckily for Alliance, they have vacated the area with anything super valuable. The Zeph NG is going to be found out. Dragon on Dragon action, they can come out ahead. They will need to push in with this because they did use the Elder Dragon form. I don't know if Alliance feel easy about sneaking a Roche here. I don't think they're going to try and capitalize on this. Not feeling safe.
Yeah, Limp might get caught here. He's gonna get out.
Knows something's wrong. But he reacts too soon. Pushed back into the spear to then be hit into the wall. Down to half HP. BKB gets out of a box. He turns away Lotus to reflect the damage, but Limp has that magic immunity. Boxy healed up, he's going to stand his ground. Too many heroes here. So run him down and kill him off. Well, the rest of Liquid will look to get out of this. This did give a lot of time for Quick for the poke and product power in the Elder Dragon form. Might lose more now. S4 going to chase forward. Can't quite see him, and Tiger will scare away Nico Baby, so it looks like Liquid supports will make it out.
Yeah, there's that little bit of a extra Boxy Rambo, you know, that sometimes it's a hit, sometimes it's a miss. This one didn't really work out. His teammates were not really ready to rotate as quickly as he kind of would have hoped. And so he just ends up dying.
It's not the worst thing though, right? Like, you give over some gold, sure, but that's the 10-second BKB used. Force the reload. It's 4 heroes coming across. And BK is still farming while all that's happening.
No, it's not the worst thing, but you really don't want to be giving away kills like that. It just slows you down. Your momentum gives away gold and map. They brought it down now to a 1k advantage. Alliance to 1-2k. Just run. And there's the Blink Dagger now on S4, finally.
Yep, Quickfoot tried to save the day. I don't know if they can jump this DK though. He's a little bit too bulky. He has the DKB. So S4 will be prepped to stun him to back off. Liquid just trying to zone them away. Realizing that this is a golden opportunity to take Roche now with the MKB Mike, and Alliance feel out of position to maybe respond. They're going to try now with smoke. Wards are down.
It's not going to be very easy to relocate into this though, I think. It might become a little bit hard.
Too predictable. They jump in first. The stun comes out. Limp needs to activate that BKB. Finally gets it off, but the damage is too high. BK chasing forward. The right of Quickfoot might just be enough to bring him down. Lina dead. And Alliance try with a backstab from Terrorize, pushes them away, splitting up Hanscom from his reload target. He's going to be left alone. On the other side of the map as they fight here, S4 being brought low and down. The Omni Slash doing a lot of work, but Tiger will fall now. Up against the outside of the wall was good enough to bring down Nico Baby. Quick was still hunting for, looking for more. The buyback was used by Limp. Won't have to die for this, but when there's 2 dragons, there's a rule here. One has to die, and it's going to be FNG again. As he gets picked off, they'll return to the pit. Another good team fight for Team Liquid, and Alliance just running out of tools at their disposal to fight back.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it just looked awkward because it's like they're running around this bottom lane with this Jug Wisp, and it's gonna be very hard to relocate into this fight and actually get a fight. You're only gonna have 3 heroes there. Of course, they're gonna be able to initiate onto one of your heroes, whether it's the THD or the Lina, maybe not the Slardar, but they are gonna find this initiation. And once you come in, NOOBFROMSEA just highly overestimating how much damage this Omni Slash deals. Yes, you have Battle Fury, Mask Madness, and even an IO, but the Dusa is incredibly tanky with these items. Just the mana shield, you're not gonna make it through this Dusa, and he just gets speared right away after. You got the Mask of Madness going, you're losing armor and you can't spin.
It feels highly reactionary, but it feels too slow of a reaction, right? Like, you compare it to last game without this, there was this Spectre that they were up against, Liquid had, right? And if you were to jump anyone, instantly, like, Spectre could reinforce the fights. But there is a delay on these reloads, and Liquid, proven time and time again, they have the necessary burst to make that fight a mathematical, awkward oddity, should we say, for Alliance. It's usually one member's already dead by the time they arrive with the IO.
I feel like the way Alliance playing this game, I think they're just being way too split. There's always FNG wandering around alone because he has no one to play with. S4 has basically been trying to farm his Axe Blink for the, he tried to farm them for 25 minutes, and he finally got them. Limp doesn't really have anyone to play with either, and then it leaves NOOBFROMSEA with Hanskin. They're just running around trying to farm, and there's no clear objective. It looks like they don't have any goals in mind. It's just, we want to get to these items so that we can, do this. When Liquid are just playing, all right, we want to do this. And while they're doing these things, they are getting gold, they are getting kills, and that gives them items. It gives them map control, it gives them timings. So kind of Alliance looking like they're just playing to get items, whereas Liquid are just playing the game, and subsequently, as a result of playing a well played out game, they're getting what they want.
Yeah, it's kind of like Alliance playing a venture capitalist, and Liquid, they're actually playing Dota as they're pushing into the base now. And Alliance, they are here to respond. You've got NOOBFROMSEA splitting on the other side of the map to try and get some extra gold, but this tower is eventually going to fall. Heck it. It's making it quite hard for Liquid though. Jules reflected back. They've already lost S4. DK with the casual right clicks able to run him through. This is going to be a lane. NOOBFROMSEA does not feel confident about fighting, especially now that they've lost this stuff, but luckily for them, they have the tier 2, so you can only get 1 lane out of this. So unlikely to try and force tier 4s.
Yeah, it's kind of a silver lining here. They're only gonna get the one side. At the same time, Koikwa is getting closer to his AC. There's now Skadi completed on Mickey, going for the butterfly next. And yeah, I mean, Alliance might have another fight in them, I think. Just depending on how it goes, but they really need to start thinking about how to actually initiate onto Liquid and how to try to make these kills happen, because they are just getting completely outfarmed and outmaneuvered on the map.
Oh no, NOOBFROMSEA got found. He's got a TP. Not going to use it though, he's just going to back up towards his team. Looks like Liquid, they're moving DK forward. NOOBFROMSEA taking a lot of damage here. LSA stunned, nice movement across to the back line. Able to get 1 kill, but the Omni Slash ended far too fast. He only gets the Willow, now he's pinned to a tree. NOOBFROMSEA got the spin again. Trying to move away. Healing what's going to be at the IO as well. We'll get him out. But that was close to a GG situation. I mean, the Omni Slash shorting out like that for a Willow kill was not what he was after.
No, it's really not.
Like
I think once again he was just going for this incredibly ambitious Omni Slash. It's though as if he thinks he's gonna cut through the Dusa with the Aegis and kill her twice. I'm not sure. It's just it looks very awkward.
They're so deep this time though. Bo3 with the BKB trying to move away. Wait for a rise this time to keep S4 out of the equation. Nice path's going to be there. But guess what? The Deuce has arrived. BK now getting the damage out. Dishing across the fight. Hands going to be brought down. The arena's going to go down as well. S4 can't escape. And NOOBFROMSEA, he's stuck here as well. Limp will go for the TP away and be successful. But the price is once again high. And Liquid, they just make it look so easy, so clean. Alliance just seem to lack any ability to burst any target.
Yeah, and you can just see Insania. He's just drawing the line. He's just a straight arrow towards the the dire base. Miki's gonna find a double damage as if that fight was not enough. And yeah, I mean, Liquid are just looking to kind of close this one out. Alliance, they don't really have the damage. You see Nico Babies queuing up the Rapier. I mean, in that fight, you saw like there's this Mars. He gets amped up, right? The Juggernaut is hitting him. He's got all these items that he's farmed, and Mars takes 20% HP.
He buys so much time. It just feels like as soon as that BKB comes out, like, where is your damage? Your Jug is a Divine Rapier away from actually being able to do anything. Just not going to get to that stage. The DD on Mike, they aren't going to force the throne, but that's another lane down, and you know that this is the stage. Alliance, you've got one fight left in you. You really just need to get on that drum, but you need to come up with the recipe, the algorithm that cracks the Liquid code. I'm pretty sure it's not going to be Omni slashing a Willow. Definitely not going to be jumping a Mars. You've got 3 targets left to decide upon. But I'm not sure if you're going to find Liquid split up anymore.
Yeah, and I'm also not sure that either one of those targets are kind of available to your, you know, just choosing a hero to kill. It's just not going to be that easy at this point.
No, they've ticked those ones off, Pycat. They're moving on like that. Willow, stupid, don't do that. Oh, Fox, no, we can't kill the Mars.
Duza,
Maybe the
now with the
Undying?
butterfly. Undying has the Ghost Scepter though.
Maybe the burst from Lina. You still catch insanely AFK from the keyboard for like 10 seconds. Really good. See, all the while, just have Tiger pumping him. Ready to screw them. Esport, no! He whiffed. Well, did he? Actually went for the stun on the side on purpose. He didn't actually want to jump in, but they used the stone gate as a result because they thought someone else was coming. The problem is with the range, they're just going to lose Jakiro. He made a puddle on the side, but there was a bigger whoopsie made by Alliance in general. Now they're going to move in. Stun's going to come to hands, get terrorized, flying through the hold on to it instead. Arena's good enough to get one kill, force the buyback out of the IO, and then the buyback straight away from S4 as well. They're up against the ropes. They need something godly here, and they're running out of buildings to throw at them as the final one's going to fall. Mega creeps, and it might be the game. Juggernaut stunned up for a long time. They're going to move in. Omnislash's going to come out. They'll just stack together, though. Willow will hide because she's the one susceptible. Will die in the end, but it's only one dead. LSA's going to come out. Look, give it a shotgun to try and get Juicer down. They haven't even got through the mana, though. Nico Baby is just going to be ran down and killed off alongside S4. They'll chase down Hanskin. They'll team wipe Alliance, and they'll get the GG out as Liquid finally get some points in this group stage, get their first win in the series. Oh.
Yeah, I like the way Liquid play these games, especially this one. Their draft was it's pretty cool. They have these 3 incredibly tanky cores, and then some solid team fight backup on their 2 supports. I think Tiger was he played really well this game. He was very active. I also liked what Bo3 did. Also, just kind of being very active, going for this high armor build, the early Lotus Orb. Liquid just moving around the team as a map, moving around the map as a team, and Alliance did look a little bit lost. You know, I think both these games they had these very early timings, and I feel like they failed to recognize that. Yeah, not really looking at, like the same Alliance that we saw yesterday. So maybe I'm not sure. You know, maybe they woke up on the wrong side of the bed, or they just weren't ready for Liquid's kind of team fight.
And that's what it feels like maybe it is a bit. You know, you come into this, the way they kind of approach these games where we said they were looking at these later timings, they thought they could match up. But maybe they just felt Team Liquid, they won't show up like, you know, ESL Team Liquid. But, you know, this is more reminiscent of what we want to see. Team Liquid finally biting back towards the end of this group stage. And I feel like a big part of it comes, I don't want to throw anyone on the bus because that's all, I think it'd be fair. They're going to go back, they're going to go as a team, we could have played better. But this series really felt like a comparison of offlane. Right?
Yeah, no, I agree. I definitely agree. I think the impact of Bo3 versus kind of S4 in the series was, I think that there was a very large difference in between those two. And yeah, sometimes that's just the case, you know.
And as a result, Team Liquid finally gets some points to the board. The first win of the group stage. Means up at 3 points for Alliance now. Both these teams only got one other series to play. And of course, Just Era now sitting, looking like they might end up lowest out of everyone with 3 points after all 6 of their series. But, you know, I'm getting ahead of myself and talking about other things when we should be talking about this game. As we're going to throw it back to the panel, I'll break this one down and celebrate the fact that Team Liquid have gotten out of the zeros. They've finally got a real number on the board.
Yo, I'm here to celebrate. Things are getting well-rounded around here. You never want to look at a group stage like this and be like, ah, there was a clear undeserved person who was invited here, a clear team that shouldn't have been here. No, you want it competitive throughout, and Team Liquid are on their way to starting to make it look competitive. They pick up a 2-0 victory versus Alliance. T-Governor, how'd you feel? Do you think that this was Liquid just being on form, or was it Alliance being a little bit off balance?
I think it was a kind of a combination of both, right? In which that's why the games were so kind of one-sided to that degree. I think Liquid's drafts were really nice to pick apart what Alliance were trying to do, and they just identified that early aggression, right? And Liquid in this game, they were the ones to, if anything, go on the aggressive. Alliance itemized a bit greedier than expected, and Liquid just punished it. So yeah, they just played really well, and their drafts were just really good today.
You know who might have been responsible for those drafts is the person that we might be able to speak to for this interview. Insania, Aiden, give me a holler if you can hear me, my friend.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm happy we're getting a chance to talk to you. I was looking at the beginning of this group stage and I was like, I'm not sure we're ever going to get to speak to a Liquid player at this rate, but you picked up a victory versus Alliance, hell of a victory. I know that there was talk that after ESL, you got your victory and you were going to take a little bit of time off, but no Dota player likes losing. And after the beginning of this group stage, was this the breaking point where you were like, God damn it, we really need to start trying hard again? Because this is not the Liquid that we should be.
To be completely honest, like some of our players have had a lot of like personal issues starting like in August already, and like we asked everyone to put it aside to try to get like this big win throughout the season, like before the winter ends. So we've been pouring a lot of energy into like every single game up until, yeah, like you said, we won ESL, and I think after that like we deflated a little bit. But it's not like we don't want to win or we don't want to do better. I think before the Secret Series, like Boxy called me up and he was like, "Hey man, I know, like you made a promise to the boys that like we were gonna take it a little bit more chill, but we need to be better than this. We need to do better than this." So ever since before the Secret Series, we've been putting in a lot of effort into trying to like refine our form and you know, prove that we can still do it and we can still win these games. So yeah, it's nice to finally get like some results from all the work that we've been putting in for the past like week and a half or so.
Congratulations on the win. I just want to ask you, like, were you surprised at all by the itemization of Alliance in the second game? Like, Slardar going for Aghanims first, and when they, in my opinion, they desperately needed some form of initiating. Is that like something that surprised you, or did you expect it that way? Maybe I was wrong.
I think I expected him to go Blink, but to be completely honest, we were playing a draft we're not super comfortable playing. We kind of like took a page out of another team's book for this game, so we were very focused on just making sure that we do the right things, and we were very focused on like how we should play our draft. So, I mean, it was nice to see him go Axe because like we knew that we have another couple of minutes to keep talking about our game and how we want to play it. So in that way, I guess yeah, it was a pleasant surprise, but I don't know if it's necessarily the wrong idea or so, but yeah, it was a pleasant surprise in that way.
Again, congrats on the win, of course. As you guys are at a boot camp, is there anything you're doing kind of outside of Dota as a team, like any kind of extracurricular stuff you're doing, or is it just kind of treating it like work, go to boot camp, do your stuff, and then everyone does their own thing in the evening? Do you have any fun activities you lads are doing together?
We're not at boot camp anymore. We flew home right after ESL. Yeah, we were boot camping from August until like, yeah, we won ESL.
Okay, sure.
So we decided it was time to go home. But but when we're at boot camp, I mean, we do a lot of fun stuff. I think Blitz has talked about this in interviews, but we're like the best team in the world at everything that's not Dota. We play
like ping pong, right?
We play ping pong. We play CS:GO. We play Rocket League. We play Guitar Hero. We play Smash Bros. We're very good at a lot of games, and we tend to play together quite a bit. Tommy's a top tier anime watcher as well. It's worth mentioning. He's got that on lock. So we do a lot of fun stuff. We tend to do escape rooms every once in a while. Those are really fun. Yeah. No, we do a lot of team activities.
Do you try and keep that going like when you're back at home though? So like in terms of like CS:GO and all those type of games, do you keep doing that as a team, or is it mainly when you're at the boot camp you do that as well?
I think we do it more at boot camps. I think when we get home, especially like you've been together for like 2 months, you see each other every single day for like 12 hours a day. Like it's nice to spend some time with some other people too for a change. But no, we do. I mean, me and Mickey played like unranked games like yesterday just for fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
Question we've been asking pretty much everyone on every team is expectations on the new patch, or rather wish list for the new patch. I'm gonna make it a little bit more remixed. I'm not looking for like what type of heroes you want buffed, but let's say if you could make a map change right now, you know, coming from your perspective as a 5-position support, what
Yeah.
kind of map change would you like to see?
I think the high ground situation that's going on in the game has been pretty static, or it's been like the same, and I think it's a big part of why Dota is played the way it is right now has to do with high grounds. So it would be fun just for like just to see something new and see different heroes get popular. I think changing that up a little bit might spark some interesting stuff in the scene. So yeah, probably say that map wise. But hero wise, get rid of Lina and please get rid of Viper. Thank you, Ice Frog.
Yes.
We saw the tweets.
Yes. Thank you, Insania. Please, thank you.
Yeah.
But you would like something like shrines maybe on the high ground, like mini fountains? Or
Yeah,
something
just
like
give me
that?
a bunch of shrines, remove all the high grounds, just make the map fully flat. Like, I don't know.
Mhm.
Or like make everything high grounds again, like the map a couple of years ago. Like every camp was
Yeah.
like on the low ground or something. So carries would like be super scared to farm anywhere.
Yeah, that
What
was
if-
horrible.
Daytime, nighttime change the high ground, low ground, you know? So if daytime it becomes low ground, at nighttime it becomes high ground or something.
That
Oh,
sounds I don't know about that.
terrible. Yeah, I know,
terrible.
don't worry.
There's a line to draw.
Yeah. No, that sounds weird.
Yeah, you can say garbage, don't worry. I agree. It was a garbage idea.
Well, congratulations on the victory. Your next series is going to be up against VP, who are currently undefeated. I imagine you're going to be watching their next game versus Nigma, which is going to be coming up after this break. But anything in the group stage that has surprised you in terms of teams that have maybe exceeded expectations, or maybe not met expectations? What's your read on this whole Epic League situation?
I think it's hard to say. I think the only thing that I've found quite interesting is 404, considering they're like a pretty new team, and I think it's going to be interesting to see how they develop and what they manage to do here. Other than that, I mean, it's pretty late into the season, and I think some people might be like secret maybe, or like they don't look as hot as they've looked before. I think they're still very good, but I feel like you can tell that it's like kind of reaching the end of this really long online season in terms of like gameplay stuff.
We are looking for a change in pace as well, but it's a pleasure to see you finally break this losing trend. Hopefully,
Thank
we
you.
see more victories coming out from you, and congratulations yet again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Aiden Insania. Be sure to check out his documentary if you haven't seen it. Go on the Liquid YouTube page. There's a 25-minute documentary on Insania's origins, so his like journey as a gamer in general, and then his break into Han, and then obviously his transition into Dota 2. It does indeed cover the gyro misclick, if you were curious, as I'm sure any documentary at this point would have to.
Does it cover his time when he joined every single pubs as a narrator? You know what he used to do when he joined
Narrator?
when he just started playing Dotes. Like I used to get him in pubs all the time. He actually rose to high rank games quite quickly, and he would casually every single game pick a bounty hunter and then just click around the map and just narrate everything that he's doing. So if he's hitting someone with the Janada, he would be like, I'm critting this guy for exactly 256 damage. All right, now I'm going here. I'm shuriken tossing this. It's like, not gonna lie, I muted him first, but then after a minute or two, I was like, wait, I'm missing something. I'm missing some noise here.
He was giving you some indirect bounty coaching, like he was teaching the way when you're playing other heroes. So resourceful.
Yeah.
Ahead of his time.
I'm starting to notice a trend that you're muting players that you're not quite sure of, who end up bringing quite a bit of success. I think you got to recalibrate your instincts here.
Definitely. The list goes on, trust me. Like,
Bless you.
Well, I'm just happy that we're getting a well-rounded group stage, but I mean, if to make it truly well-rounded, we also can't have any undefeated teams, which means that the next series, VP versus Nigma, we gotta make VP bleed. T-Governor, what are your expectations for this next series? I mean, both of these teams are at the top of the group stage, looking on top form. Someone's got to go down.
I think for the viewers, it has to be a 2-1, right? Like VP, they're the ones that are doing so well right now. We saw in the interview the other day that this is like their dream team. That was from DM. Like they're so confident. And I think Nigma with Kuroki coming back, Of course, they lost the first series, but since then they've looked pretty good. Of course, we have forever like the shaky mid lane, but again, he's like a grounding factor for that team. I think Nigma are going to be the team to take it to VP, and I really hope it's a 2-1 because like these teams, they're like the best in this group stage in my opinion, or have that potential to be, you know, the top 3 teams. Like Nigma and then VP and +1, maybe Viking, maybe Secret, depends who turns up on the day.
Yeah, Lizard, it's I guess finally the true test for VP, because throughout this group stage, so they played OG, they got a 2-0, they played Just Air, got a 2-1, and they played Mud Golems 2-0. You think Nigma have finally hit their stride now that Kuro's back?
Yeah, that's the way they're looking, at least. They're drafting their, I like to call, anti-Dota. Like all these heroes that just deny everything that you want to be doing in the game, and they're picking these Bat Riders, Vipers. I think they hit their sweet spot once again.
Well, let's see if they can maintain it, but we'll have to take a quick break before that happens. I say quick. It's actually going to be around 40 minutes, so, you know, I don't know, it's lunchtime somewhere. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Go ahead, take a little siesta. We'll be back here, 45 minutes, VP versus Nigma here at the Epic League.
EGB, your esports betting world. The only place to find the widest choice of popular games and matches to win real money. Choose your bet on a single event or express of several matches with dizzy odds. Serving the market for 7 years with over 800,000 users. Join now to get your bonus for the first deposit up to $600. EGB, you know for sure who's gonna win.